Hey, we're back.
Hey, I almost made a really nasty comment. I'm glad I didn't.
Hello,
There we go.
hello.
Hello, everybody. We're back again.
Yeah, I know. For the
Guess
second
who's
week in a
back?
row, it's a surprise. You might have thought
Back
we were
there
going to be
again.
gone for another 2 months, but we weren't. So
We're
take
not.
that.
Well,
Aha,
we're
suck
not
it.
all here,
The
but that's
Elyssia
okay.
campaign turns into like a season of British TV where they do like 2 episodes,
Oh
then
my
wait
gosh.
14 years to do the next 2 episodes.
No, thank you.
I don't know how people would do that, but all right, because we're
I don't know.
at 8 here. We're gonna go ahead and get started. There's no Sentinel tonight. He's
Nope.
on vacation, so hopefully he's watching. If he's not, I'm gonna be very sad, and I'm gonna text him angrily later about it.
Please do.
I won't actually do that.
The
We're gonna be
VODs do
super mad.
exist.
I do hope that he told his wife that they needed to cancel all their Monday night plans because he needed to watch this.
I
Stream.
hope so. I think that's what they're planning on doing.
Yeah.
I figured that was
Nick and
in their
Melissa's
vacation.
special day.
Yeah,
Yep,
Nick and
remember
Melissa's
to
special
get
day.
that in the
They
chat.
put the roses down, they lit the candles, they got a 5-star dinner, and they hunkered down to watch the Elyssia campaign.
That's right.
Exactly.
Romantic setting.
You know
As
it.
everyone knows, it's the most
Yeah.
romantic thing you can do.
Now I almost want to take like a photo of like 2 people like in a bed full of roses, like with a TV in the background, and just Photoshop their faces on there, and then Photoshop like our stupid ass stream on the TV behind them.
Exactly.
The Elyssia campaign for your Valentine's Day.
That's right.
There's no more romantic way to spend it.
It really isn't. You can go eat
Get
dinner at
White
White
Castle,
Castle,
yeah.
and then you can come home and watch the Elyssia
White glove
campaign.
service, baby.
Gentlemen, there you go. That's your night. That's gonna get you laid.
Nice. There it is.
Thanks for
It's
the
the only way.
OCD with it.
Hex.
If there's anyone that attempts this and do in fact, succeed at the end of all of this, please let us know because I'm not going to believe you.
Ugh.
I'm not gonna say that. Okay, anyways, let's do this stupid game.
Golly.
All right. Terms of service, right, Brendan?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So
No Lions.
go Lions. Yes,
Lions.
go Lions. Yeah. All right. So last session, pretty quick recap here, because a lot happened, but it wasn't a lot at the same time. Everyone was coming out of the Guardian Foul Tomb. You guys had the system, Rosemary, who's in the visage of Duke Seymour Ellington's daughter, kind of controls everything in Elyssia and the other 18.
His real life daughter, not the one that we met.
Yes, his real life daughter, not Mila, the vampire daughter that he has here in Elyssia. And you guys were leaving through the cave, and what do you know? Braska and Jayla, who's been like resurrected and turned into a thrall. She doesn't say anything. She's all nasty looking and all that fun stuff. They're there. Braska's kind of like, hey, you guys are kind of dumb. Didn't think I'd be watching this place, but that's cool because I want to make like a deal with you. And he starts talking about how he wants to like make a new world, and he's like totally cool and fine taking like whoever we want and moving them over to the new world, and they could just live there and everything will be great. And if you just stop screwing with me, it'll all be good. And everyone was just like, you're a dick. And you kind of just had an interesting conversation with him about like his inability to look past his own bullshit. It's the best way I can describe it. Which I think has been the running theme, but I think it really solidified itself right there if anyone was questioning it. He also rubbed more salt in the wound. He actually brings Darian Kipps back as a thrall after Highwater gets destroyed and falls into the Goddess Lake. Seemingly they went there to see what was going on and recover some people, and he discovered Darian's body and was like, here we go. So now there are 2 of your former friends who are against you. The party beaten up from the battle with Nim, who you still have, by the way.
Yay.
You rush out of, the cave to get on the dragon that's waiting for you there. Excuse me. And as you are getting on it, Braska fires one of his like magical weapons, like his spectral weapons he uses, and he hits Meepo right in the back. Targeting kind of one of the weaker members of the group, like a non-combatant. He wasn't in battle. And Dr. Jamie immediately confirms Meepo was dead. So you kind of fly yourselves back to Morgath and come to the conclusion that you made to basically make a spectacle out of Meepo's death. The fact that he's a hero, basically. I mean, he's the Drangler. People know who he is. And if you
He's a
can
folk
use
hero.
this, if you can use this as a way to turn people against Nebraska, who's been desperately and successfully been turning people towards him, it might give you guys a better fighting chance. You got Ezra, his apprentice, on board with the idea. You also had Xanthro offer to kind of like do a speak with the dead kind of spell on him, where Meepo could kind of get off of his last thoughts, last feelings about the group and his friends and things like that. Which half of you wanted to do, half of you didn't want to do, but you all conceded that it was Ezra's decision, as she was his apprentice and probably the closest to him, which she said she did. Dr. Jamie gave a huge speech in Morgath about what happened to Meepo, what Braska is, and what you all need to do about it. Very good speech. And kind of riled everyone up at that point. Then you brought Meepo back to the fort where Xanthro cast a spell, and Meepo just had some nice parting words for Ezra, but also the party as a whole. Though it was kind of humorous because he went on and on about how you tried to kill him at first. But that was the end of last session, and we'll go ahead and start this session off here. So, Brandon, if you haven't yet already, go ahead and start the music.
Going.
Awesome, thank you. So you got that nice little music while I was going here. So in Morgath here, you've just finished your conversation with Meepo. The spell has ended. His spiritual visage has dissipated, and you are now left with his body. As you stated before, you take him back outside, probably to one of the training areas, kind of a wider open piece of open land, where you are going to essentially cremate his body via one of his dragons. A way to prevent Braska from bringing back any of your allies and friends to use against you, either just from the beckoning itself or any of his weird, twisted reasons for it. As you lay Meepo out on the center of this kind of field here, Battleclues, his black dragon that he's had since, basically you've re-encountered him back at the carnival and learned that he's become this famous, successful Drangler, is there, and he's the one who's going to use the flame, or not flame, it's like an acid attack that black dragons do. And you lay Meepo out, he's kind of adorned a little bit, he's going out heroes, a way of a hero. You all kind of stand back, and Battleclues looks down at the body of his former rider. I don't even want to say master, because it's not really the relationship that these two had. It was very much like a relationship of understanding and equality. Like, yes, Meepo was using Battleclues, to ride, but at the same time they had this very strong bond. And you hear the dragon just sort of wallow and belt out this incredibly loud, to you, ear-shattering, almost cry out. All of Morgath hears it. Probably most of Olin hears it. And once Battleclues is done with his cry, you see his mouth begin to kind of swell with this sort of gaseous-looking smoke in his mouth, and he just unleashes it over Meepo's body, and this huge acidic cloud forms over his body. It reeks horribly. This is a terrible smelling acid, but as Battleclues closes his mouth and you slowly see the mist begin to depart, Meepo's body there no longer remains, and he is returned to the earth. It's up to you. It's to you guys.
Well, I know we have a little bit of time, or we don't have a lot of time, I should say, before we should get to Igorith. Because we're chasing the clock here. So I think after the body is all dissolved and whatnot, I think I would kind of look at the rest of the guys and be like, we should get going.
There's not much more else here we can do. As long as Battleclues can take us, I think Igorith's our next step.
Ezra's there as well, and she says, since none of you are dragon riders, I can easily take you to Igorith as well.
Perfect.
It does make that
That's
a
what
lot
Meepo
easier.
would have wanted. Dr. Watts, Nim, can I just assume you've placed him in your quarters for the time being?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I'll just tell him that yeah, you can do whatever you want, dude.
He
Like, this
is completely
He's
unconscious.
deactivated.
Right?
Yeah,
He's
he's
deactivated.
Oh no.
Yeah,
well, then
you
I
guys
would.
Yeah, you didn't destroy him. You deactivated him. When you put that like cube into the system, it deactivated all the nimble rights.
And we know that if we reactivate him, he's gonna try to attack us.
Yes, that assumable, I should say. I guess you don't 100% know that, but as the dungeon master, I'll just say yes.
Okay. Well, then I will just I'll leave him deactivated. I guess I will tell someone to like chain him up.
Okay. So you tell one of the soldiers, you know,
Yeah,
what
like
you're doing.
let's.
Maybe you communicate it to like Dale or Tetra or something, and they can go take care of it.
Yeah, I'd be like, like chain him up just in case he reactivates. Like he is dangerous, but don't dismantle him if you can help it.
There's also another thing that you must make a decision on. Xanthro still remains amongst your group. What is your decision on this?
Honestly, at this point, I don't know if we really need to keep bringing him around.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason we brought him with is was because of the space.
System. Yeah, and he had the key to the system, and we used his key and got the system. So he proved to be trustworthy in that regard. But in on one side of the coin, like I don't know how useful he's going to be, and then on the other side of the coin, like his purpose has been served. Like he doesn't need to try to be a hero now. Like if he wants to help, like Olin probably could use his help more. We're gonna use his help.
I don't like the idea of leaving him alone with all the people.
Oh, I'm not saying we just leave him alone. Maybe we talk to the queen about giving maybe have a protection, like a guard of protection on him, or like watching him. If they want to put him in a cell, I guess they could, but then you're using more resources than are necessary, I think, especially with what he's proven. But
you can chain him up in the same place they're chaining up Nim.
I mean, it's technically your decision in that regard. You're the one with the power.
Well, yeah, as Pontiff, yes, you could chain him up, but I'm saying like he's proven that he's willing to help. If like instead of just chaining him up, he is an able body. If they need like physical labor, he has 2 pairs of hands and feet.
You know, Xanthro, you are a necromancer, but you don't happen to know other forms of magic, right? Like healing magic or other.
Unfortunately, no healing magic, but I do have a few other spells that I'm privy to. Things like Mage Hand, Prestidigitation.
The basics.
Some of the basics. Create food and water, those sort of things.
Well, I mean, create food and water would be useful for the people of Olin. So if nothing else, you can have him helping out that way, I guess.
Almost terrible term, but almost as an indentured servant.
Mm.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
a way for him to
prisoner.
atone for his past.
I am willing to assist where able.
Well, then I'll put him under Faith's watch, and
right.
I guess that's what I'll do. Also, I'll have Faith. Well, Faith is watching Destiny, but Destiny's kind of like not. I don't need him to be.
Destiny's kind of become like a farmer. He's like become like a holistic
he's just a
farmer.
dude.
That's the point.
He's my guy. He's my bard that tells everybody how cool I am.
Yep.
Even though I don't want him to. So yeah, I will tell Faith to like stay on him, and then if he does anything other than making food or helping out people, to like kill him. Not kill him, but to like imprison him. Like chain him up, do all that stuff.
Understood, brother. We can do that.
Yep.
No reason to decline help.
Mm-hmm.
So Xanthro departs with Faith, and he's gonna go off and see in ways that he can help out here, especially with all of the refugees in Morgath. Create food and water might be a touch useful right now.
Yeah. That's a 3rd level spell.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't remember. I'd have to look at his character sheet again, but he's a pretty high level spellcaster. For when you guys fought him in the high water stuff.
He was giving us the beans. I mean, it was quite a few levels ago, but he was giving us the beans.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So
All right. Well,
All
then,
right.
yeah.
To Igarith, then.
Mhm.
Everyone can take a long rest. I'll say you guys can take a long rest before you head out. You might want to do that.
Dear God,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah,
Gracious
you might want to
DM.
do that before you leave.
Make sure you save your.
I mean, I guess you could
progress.
long rest on the dragon, so we'll just
2,
assume
3. Ooh, you know what? While we're long resting, I'm gonna go over to oh my gosh, I forgot your name. Matt, what was your character's name?
Ruma.
Ruma.
I'm
gonna go over to Ruma.
Snowhammer or something like that.
I'm gonna go over to Ruma, and I am going to give him this cool ass cloak.
I love cool ass cloaks.
Yeah, it's a cool ass cloak, and it's
badass.
designed to look like, because you're like from Olin, right?
Yeah.
I'll design it to look like kind of like an Olin thing, but it'll have like a drangling design on it. And it is a cloak of protection, which gives you +1 to your AC and your saving
Oh.
throws.
Poor
You're
Ethan.
AC like 28 now or something, Ruma.
I think
It'll
it's like
be
23 baseline, right?
Yep, 23 base, 28 with shield protection.
There you go.
Yes.
And that's my
Man,
last.
even Braska
infusion.
might have a hard time hitting
real
you.
quick,
Mhm.
does it smell as bad as Sentinel's cave?
No, it does not smell as bad as Sentinel's Cave.
'Cause
Though
I
it
might
is
forfeit
gaudy.
the AC. No, I'm just kidding.
It is gaudy. It's not well. It doesn't. The design is not well.
That's awesome.
It is very, really silly.
I
looking.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
But you have it.
Looks like
Well,
child's
thank
first
you.
stage
Yeah,
work.
it's one of those designs where he told you what it was, and you're like, oh, yeah,
that's a-
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I see it. I see it. Yeah.
Child's drawing of just two
Yeah.
circles, and it's like, that's mom, that's dad, and that's me. You're just like, sure it is.
Yeah,
The
Yeah.
dragon is like a blob with like little dangly
with
things.
really pointy teeth. You're just like, yeah, that's a dragon.
That's a
Mhm.
dragon.
You did it.
But it does give you but the microfibers are incredibly strong,
Yeah.
and they will enhance your abilities, making your saving throws +1 and your AC +1.
And the
And that's why
underside
I
is
think-
Sherpa for extra comfort.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's the last of my effusions, people. So that's
That's
everybody got a thing.
Nice.
All right.
Adding in my bonuses because D&D Beyond won't do it for me.
So you guys have
Oh,
your,
you may need
your
to,
equipment.
If it requires attunement, you may need to attune to it before it.
Yeah, you can just look up the cloak of protection, and it's in.
It is an item.
The
like
same
an
thing
actual
that I
item.
got.
Oh, I have to click the attune button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to attune to it.
That's so embarrassing.
Which I think you can do on a long rest. So there you go.
Yep.
Or it's a couple hours to do it or something.
Yeah, it's
I
like
don't
an
know
hour or
exactly.
something to attune to an item, if I remember right. But it can be done during a rest.
Yeah. So you've succeeded that. You've equipped yourself. Now you are on your way to Igarith. It is a flight of a few hours. It's nothing too crazy. It's a little longer than your flight to the Guardian Foul Tomb, and you arrive in Igarith. Or you arrive approaching Igarith, which I haven't seen this map in a while.
Oh my god.
The Badger's not there anymore.
No.
No.
But we stole it. It's ours.
Well, actually, didn't Prince Afarin take off with
Yeah, I
it?
think
He
if I
did.
remember,
He
I think
upgraded it and flew it away.
I think he turned it into a magical
Peter
100
Pan
story
Yeah,
flying
it was an
pirate.
elaborate flying pirate ship to fly off to find where
Talking
everybody
about
goes where they
gaudy.
die.
Let's talk about Gaudy.
Yeah.
So the dragon
That
Battle
was
Cluse
okay.
approaches Igarith, a shell of its former self. In the last 3 years, under Gamar's complete and total control, the city has fallen into almost complete ruin. Gone is the industry that once thrived it. Its entire shipping community is nothing more than a empty harbor with seaweed and moss-covered docks. The entire city has been overrun and overtaken by thieves and ruffians, people that Gamar is simply just allowed to exist because he can and because he thinks it's funny. Those that remain in a positive light within the city have either long been snuffed out or have gone so far underground that you have not heard from them within those 3 years.
Hmm.
So, from the information we were gathered from the system, She mentioned that Seymour, whatever, Ellington is here, but did she clarify whether or not Gamar had him under control, or just that he was hiding in the city?
He's just here.
Okay,
That's all you know.
Okay.
Speaking of the system, is the system with us?
Oh yeah,
She
that's a good
That
question.
is up to you.
She should be because
Yeah, we're not
Braska
leaving her
needs
back. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we do need her.
she is with us for. I mean, she doesn't really need protection, but more so we don't lose her.
All right. So yes, you have the system, which if she is telling the truth, she is in the guise of
Luke Seymour
Seymour's.
Ellington.
Yeah,
Yes.
his daughter, which will pretty much shock anybody to see their actual living daughter
Yeah.
walking around. So if we can get her in front of him, maybe we can spot him. Unless he's under lock and key.
Yeah, one sec here, guys. I just got a kind of weird text message from somebody, and I am a bit confused. So
What's
just
it
give me-
say?
Pee pee
Uh,
poo 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 pee 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 poo poo poo.
I mean, it's not a revolver. It's like a musket type gun.
Yeah.
Like a picture being a revolver and him
It's like
like
a
flipping over the
flintlock.
barrel and shooting for Kier, and then flipping it back for a bullet.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
I would have-
special gun at this point. I mean,
Right.
do whatever the hell you want with it.
I
That's
hand
so
you
cool.
8. I hand you 8 little bullet casings. So like inside these bullet casings are essentially the same thing as a cure, as a potion. And if you shoot somebody and it gets into their bloodstream, it'll heal them.
And so Arthur's going to load them into the spectral gun, and then you just hear this like spectral like screaming noise emit from the gun. And so now it'll just be so when he normally shoots and it absorbs instead of shooting a bullet out. Now when he shoots the healing, it'll like spray like whatever he absorbed from people.
Nice.
So,
This could
Oh.
very, very closely be a buffed up version of the Rock of Healing, where you have to throw it at
Yeah.
somebody to heal them, and it does like a D4 of damage, and it heals for a D4.
I love it so
The
Yeah.
much.
Rock of Healing is one of the best
Ripped.
items anyone's ever made.
That's amazing.
It's rolling the dice, baby.
All right, so Igorith, you know, you kind of actually see like smoke bellowing up from the city. I mean, it's in constant like self siege at this point. Basically, as these gangs have more or less taken over. Anvil and Shield corporations have all been but run out at this point, leaving Sword and Sickle to essentially no longer be a corporation that creates items, but a ring house for the gangs and the people that have taken over. It is their city now.
Rock on, rock on. Very good, very good.
Well, I mean, at least one company finally controls everything.
Yay,
Monopolization.
Monopoly.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Arthur's gonna take out the coupon that we had for one free boat from Anvil and just go, well, this
Nice.
is like, useless now.
Oh, this
Oh.
crap that you get. Like free.
I'll look at Dr. Jamie Lee Watts looks at it with a questioning look. Who would be
Look,
dumb
like,
enough
this
to
is
fall for
useless
that?
since Anvil's out of here now.
Yeah, I guess we can't get a free
Wasn't
bus
it
anymore.
drawn with like a crayon or something?
Yeah.
Well,
too?
they basically, though, it was Sentinel and Prince Safar, and when
Safari
one
got
guy
it.
bothered him, and he just wrote it on a piece of paper. He goes, "Here, show this to the boatmaster. You'll give you a boat."
Yeah,
One free
and,
vote.
and Prince Safari was like 100% thankful about that.
Yeah. Oh,
Sentinel
yeah.
was too. He
Yeah,
was like,
Sentinel
awesome.
was like,
we get a
oh, sick,
free
we have a
boat."
free boat. Meanwhile, the rest of us were like, all right, where are we gonna
forgot
actually get a
about
boat?
Wow.
Oh no, you got a note taker, baby. The note taker never forgets.
I
He's
forgot
better
about
than
that.
I am,
That's
and I'm
awesome.
the DM.
That's so funny. All right. Well, we're good.
I mean, we gotta go find a displaced Duke and hope we don't get
Duke?
spotted by
Yeah,
anyone.
Yeah, do we have any
important.
way of identifying where he might be?
You might
The
have to ask
Duke?
around. Though
Mm.
right now, you guys are currently flying towards the city on a dragon. So you must find. If you like, you can land in the middle of the city. You're more than capable of doing that on your dragon. But
Yeah, no, I think we'd tell Ezra to that way we don't put her in harm's way or the system
Mhm.
to
Or our way to get back.
Yeah, that's so true. Is
Kinda need the
land
dragon.
like inconspicuously like a distance away so we can walk up to the city without
Mhm.
causing.
all right,
much alone.
you guys land. I'll say Ezra is able to find like a grouping of trees or whatever, and she drops Battlecluse down. You're able to disembark, and she says, "I'll be here waiting for you guys whenever you're ready to go."
We are now. All right, we're back. I got
Cool.
Streamlabs
Yeah.
crashing on me.
Alright.
I don't know what's going on.
Tech
Sorry,
difficulty.
I had
Something
to
about
away.
transitions and stuff. It doesn't like them. And
Okay.
I have to re-update the image again. I'll do it next week.
Brendan, about where did we crap out so I can possibly a little more?
I don't even know. It was like I got to give the recap of everything that just happened in case any of it got lost. Jamie gave Azriel a bunch of healing bullets. We landed and we're on our way into the city to go find our dude.
And they've left the system with Ezra and Battlecluse
Yeah, for
because if
protection.
anything janky happens, they're gonna take off back to Olin.
And we're
These
listening for
are-
Bee Gees.
Yeah,
We
we're
are-
on the
Well,
lookout
you
for some
haven't done
DJs.
that yet. You're still approaching the
No.
city. You just said that in passing.
Oh no, we are constantly looking
Listening for
BGs.
BGs.
It's
Roll
a
for
perpetual state of
BGs.
mind.
Roll for BGs.
Roll for Bee Gees.
Roll for peach.
Honestly, if I could slightly redo that entire proportion, I've been thinking about giving the Duke like a bunch of like ring wraith type guys that were gonna be like super creepy and scary and like terrorize you guys for a little bit, and then when you actually discover that he's like kind of stupid into the BGs, you're gonna enter the hall and they were all gonna be doing the YMCA together.
Wow, so many different things
That's
happening.
awesome.
Anyway,
I bet it's
so
the YMCA, which is by the village people.
it is
Yeah,
by
so
the
it's just
village
like
people,
a
but it's still like that 70s kind of disco-y.
Oh, for sure, for
music
sure.
is what I'm getting at. But anyways, so you guys have approached. You approached Igarith from the city's facing. God, I hate my screw up on the things. East, and you've approached from the north, basically. So you're over here,
Okay.
on the map. There is the main gate here. There's
Elysian
obviously a
East.
gate here, and there's
Elysian
also the
East.
collapse district where the wall has fallen.
Okay.
That you could possibly get into, but there's obviously I mean, you could scale the walls too. It's up to you.
I think going through the collapse instead of trying
Wall
to go through the
heist.
gate would be the best way to do it.
That would be arguably the most conspicuous. But
Very true. But wall heist, guys.
Especially
Wall
if
heist.
Braska is in contact with Gamar. Gamar's probably already alerted that we're on our way here, so
True.
and me being around is always a good time, and Gamar's
that is fair too. So I don't know what kind of clause he still has in you to know whether or not you're here. So
We're gonna have to fight your pimp now.
Yeah.
Your ex-pimp. My apologies.
Ex-pimp. Your new pimp's cool.
Yeah, we do like your madam.
she's a madam, yeah.
Adam.
Wherever
Madam.
she is.
You've been
Yeah.
pretty quiet recently.
No, I haven't heard from her.
Oh
but
yeah,
ever.
what has happened to her?
She's faded into the distance, I guess. I don't know.
Dang, that sucks. Hopefully she's okay. It's okay. Not
Why
quite
don't you
sure
reach
exactly
out
what
and
she
ask
is.
Darby.
Did you ask if she was?
Oh dang!
Well,
3
you
years,
can't like
never
an
asked.
old Darby. Come on.
Never
Let's just
asked.
derail this entire session and
Yeah, hey, go
What's
fight her.
going on? I don't know what's going on. I've stopped hearing from her.
All right,
Well, I
let's
don't
head
know.
to the collapse.
I still have
Well,
the power.
Ruma's still
so
got one of her
something's there.
cats. Ruma's gonna look at the cat that was gifted to him. Wait, I don't even know if the cat would be. He probably wouldn't have taken the cat to where we were going. Never mind.
Yeah, the cat's probably back in the cold Morgath, I would assume.
He's hanging out, waiting to be put into the sanctuary room. I'll start one day.
All right.
Sanctuary.
Are you guys going to the collapse then, or are you doing another thing?
I think that's the best
Yeah,
bet, but
sneaking
don't let
in
me
through
make
the
the
collapse.
decision for us.
Mhm.
So
And
you guys-
because this is a city, we move twice as fast.
Hey,
That's true.
honestly,
They gotta milk
with how the city is right now, it's probably the most useful that ability is going to be this
Oh, yeah.
entire campaign. So, you guys head towards the sea to where the collapse kind of is, and I assume I've given this before, but it's been a long time since you've been here. But the collapse has given its name not only because of its collapsed wall, but because the land is literally sinking into the ocean, and a large portion of the sea has actually come up into this like slum area, or an area that has become a slum at some point. So like as you approach the walls, everything's getting very marshy and like squishy and sticky as you're kind of wading through towards the wall. And off in the distance, you can see what appears to be 6 or 7 ruffians kind of hanging out by the wall.
Mm.
Are they hanging out in such a way to where they would notice us if we approach the big hole in the wall, or could we get
Yes.
around?
Yeah,
them?
they are hanging out by the big hole.
Yeah. Okay. I
Well,
guess, for
I
lack
mean,
of better things, we
let's
could
just
just try
walk
to keep
through.
our heads down and work past them. See if
Yeah,
they
I
say
mean,
anything.
Dr. Watts, me, Azrael here. I mean,
We got the pontiff.
we know
got
what's going
big
on.
dude. We got giant chicken.
I mean,
Mm.
You got giant shit.
the
We
three of
got-
us,
Wait,
you know.
oh, we do we
girl.
have
Occasionally,
giant
occasionally.
chicken, or are we leaving giant chicken to watch over this Rosemary?
I'm gonna say Sentinel's here just because if Nick comes back and we're not out of Agareth, he'll be with
Oh
you
yeah,
anyways.
yeah.
He's
Fair
here.
enough.
He's just
He's in zombie mode right now, as all the people who aren't here are at the time.
Just,
He's been knocked unconscious, so we're just
Yeah.
dragging his body.
just
So Rosemary's
dragging
just
you.
like super curious about the actual physical state of the system, so she just keeps running away looking at stuff, and Sentinel keeps chasing her.
As like babysitting
Yeah, he's babysitting the system.
the entire side session with Nick and me just playing for like 2 hours as he chases this little girl robot around. Anyways, so you see these ruffians by the hole in the wall, the entrance to the city. I should say.
I say we just try and walk past. I say
no reason to make a scene.
knowledge.
Yeah, I would. Do I
No,
recognize
no,
any
no.
of them?
Yeah.
Do I
Do you
recognize
recognize any of them?
Ooh,
Yeah, I'd say, Dr. Watts, that a couple of them do look a little familiar. Probably people that you've encountered. You've probably been in the collapse more than anyone here in this party before. And some of these guys would be people you conversed with, maybe helped at some point. They all kind of have a little bit more of like a haughty look about them. Like they're ruffians, but they're outfitted in much nicer equipment than, a bunch of rogues just kind of chilling around the busted up wall.
Then I guess I'll go talk to them. I'll go see if I'll go up to them.
All right. So you begin to
Sure.
approach, and they're kind of just shooting the shit, and they look over as you come up, and they go, "Well, you look at you have here. Governor's come to the governor's entrance. Nicest one in all the city. Oh, I recognize you. You're that traveling mage, aren't you?"
No, not a traveling mage. As Dr. Jamie Lee Watts, I believe. I've treated a few of you before.
Oh yeah, the chap down here in the collapse. Yeah, you had the little clinic around there. Helped some of us after we got roughed up by Anvil or Shield.
Yep. Yeah. Question for you guys. Obviously, you seem to be doing well for yourselves. Have you, by chance, seen a weird-looking human-ish guy? He would look human to you. Weird taste in music, like weirder than regular, just like a lot of high-pitched screaming. Maybe like an odd outfit. Doesn't come out during the day. Anything like that?
I think the chap's describing good old Gamar. You looking for the master?
No, not Gamar. And Master. Interesting sentence. No,
One sentence, in fact.
no, it wouldn't be Gamar. He'd be a different guy. I'll physically describe the Duke.
Okay.
Like kind of grayish skin, weird clothes.
While Jamie is conversing, Arthur, especially after they mention the word master and Gamar, Arthur is going to take a kind of like more than leisurely glance around to see if these guys aren't the only ones set up here. Like if there's somebody high, like an ambush spot, because this is kind of seemingly like not good news. So he's just gonna try and do a perception like around.
Yeah, no, you don't really see anyone else. It seems like the 8 of these guys are the ones stationed
8.
here
Okay.
at the wall.
That's a number.
Sure.
Huh?
Any chance you've seen this person?
What about you, Stretch? You seen anyone that the good old doctor's describing? No, not really, sir. I haven't seen anyone like that. Hasn't seen anyone like that, Doctor. Now, if you'd like to come on into the city and have a little bit of a spattering here, it's a little bit of a fee we charge now to get on into Igareth. A little bit of governor's tax for you.
the fancy clothes that you're wearing and kind of a smell of cleanliness, you know, it doesn't really vibe over here anymore. It's the governor's tax. Is that right, boys? The governor's tax.
They all kind of nod. They're like,
yeah.
yeah.
Is he saying this loud enough for Ruma to hear?
Yeah, I mean, are the rest of you like hiding or back, or did you sort of?
No, I went.
He sees you guys. I mean, if that's the case.
Upon hearing this, Ruma's gonna stop looking at his nails or whatever and just walk behind Dr. Watts, completely towering over him, glaring at the guy saying there's a governor's tax.
Oh, there's 2 governors here. It'd be double the governor's tax, it would seem.
Well,
okay.
But, you know.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna pay to go to my own house, so I'm just gonna not do that. But I can do this. If you guys need, if anybody needs like looking over, obviously the city's not doing particularly well. If any of your guys need a look over, I'd be more than happy to help them out.
Gamar has provided us with a full HMO.
I don't know what that means, but that
Neither
sounds like
do
his
we,
deed.
but we pay part of our salary into it, and supposedly we get medical care because of it.
Ruma's just gonna shake his head and go, "The PPO was clearly the better option."
I hate to break it to you
For
guys,
whatever
but
reason, we have to enter
that's
a
not-
primary care physician, Governor, and I don't quite know what that is. You mind if I include your name on that?
I don't know if he's in
no.
network is the problem.
Yeah. Well, so then
It's Jamie in Network.
yeah, just
You might need to find a different
Dr.
doctor. He
Watts, roll
doesn't,
for Network.
he doesn't
Network
work
for-
in this city anymore, so I don't think it.
oh man, roll
You
for
know,
insurance
Maybe he has
premium.
multiple
Jamie's
offices.
part of the universal healthcare plan.
Yeah, there we go. There we
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
He is different.
Oh,
He's
he
free
probably
healthcare.
would.
Joel Care.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna.
For us.
I'm not gonna pay you. But I promise that you let us in will not be. I can't promise that. I actually don't care. We're just gonna walk in. Please don't do anything
They kind
stupid.
of all stand up and start like making their way over to you guys, and they're just sort of like,
I'm not gonna promise that.
Ruma's got aggression to take out.
Look here, Governor. Dr. Watts.
Ugh.
You did some good things back in the day.
Yeah.
Eternally grateful to that.
Uh-huh.
But there's a bit of a new liege lord here. It's kind of giving us some of the lessers a little bit piece of the pie. A little bit of a slice of the cake. A little bit of a quiche. All those sort of things. We don't necessarily take too kindly to people who aren't willing to give us our fair share. So, can I beseech the good doctor to put a little bit of coin into a poor friend's pocket?
It's not worth it, Dr. Watts. Don't do it. You already know. It's going to be more money than it should be. to
Yeah.
walk
How
through
much?
a giant
How much
animal.
coin is it? How much coin is it? You know I can get through here in another way, but literally, just how much is it?
With a number of you with the tax imposed, about 30 gold coins, Governor.
30 gold coins are insane.
Literally
gonna look
highway
at-
robbery.
Ruma's gonna look at Azriel for at least some sort of look of approval.
I will
You
take
can
out
see a vein
30.
popping out of his forehead.
I will take 30. I have 30 gold.
Oh, we
I have more.
you
than
guys
that.
have so much money.
We have that money. It's the principle that I have an
Yeah.
issue with.
I don't want to get shaken down for it.
I don't want to kill these people for 30
my thing
gold.
is, yeah,
I'm not
I
gonna
don't want to
kill
cause
him.
a scene. I don't want to cause a scene.
I
And
just want to
secondly,
kneecap him.
I have to say, I think this gentleman, the talkative one, and I will say this out loud, I think he knows on about Mr. Seymour Ellington. So if money's gonna talk, either A, we'll pay you more if you give us more information, or B,
Ooh.
my friend here, I'm gonna point to Ruma, is going to break both of your kneecaps and make you talk through a spell that he
Oh.
knows.
Now
Intimidation.
He's all good. You're not gonna make him roll for it.
Now then, friends.
Not
I don't
surprised.
particularly like the idea of the whole kneecapping thing. That sounds most unpleasant.
Usually
But the
is.
idea of more gold coin in my pocket sounds a little bit more to my liking.
Yeah.
How much gold coin are we talking?
Well, how about this? We'll give you the 30 here. and then we have to leave the city at some point. If
That's
your
true.
information turns out to be true, I'll give you 3 times that amount. I'll give you 90 on top of the
Ooh.
30.
Now, I do quite like this proposition, but what is to say that you even come back this way when you leave the city? Here's my proposition. You give me the 90 now, friend, and I will let you into the city and let you out of the city when the time comes, as well as a little bit more information about the man that you might seek. How's
So
that
you're-
sound to you, Governor?
I'm not a governor, but
Oh,
I-
everybody's a governor who comes through this gate here. It's the governor's
Hey.
entrance.
Of course, yeah.
We are just gonna take a couple deep breaths. I'm giving you the 30. That's not negotiable. We'll come in with the 30. You're getting your 30. What I'm saying, I'm saying is you will get the 90 upon our return if your information is correct. I'm not going to give you the 90 up front. You're getting your 30 already. So you're already getting a good deal. Because I told you the alternative, which I would much prefer. I would much
I
prefer to see
understand the
I think we all would
alternative,
prefer
friend.
at this
I
well,
do
you guys would,
understand
we
the
would all prefer.
alternative, but you have to understand that I also have to pay to eat.
But you're getting your 30 gold!
But it's not the 90 that you just promised me. So, let me sweeten this a little more, Governor. What if I give you a little bit of the information? Now, to make good on what you're looking for, and then you pay me half of what it is. So what would that be? 45 gold pieces, and then you can pay me the other 45 later.
Hey, DM.
How big is this gentleman?
Yeah,
He's
DM, real,
decent sized.
real quick. Would you allow me to do a medicine check to gauge how much health somebody has?
No, I will not allow you to do that. I don't think you can necessarily judge, given how some of my NPCs have been.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't say Braska you could judge as having like a lot of hit points because he just looks
Yeah.
like a dude. But-
I'll,
Yeah.
Some guy.
How big is he compared to Ruma, who's 7 foot?
I mean,
8,
he's
12
smaller
inches?
than Ru. I would say he's probably bigger than Azrael and Darby, but he's not. Or definitely
So
Darby. I
he
mean,
can be
Darby-
lifted up.
but
I always
he's
forget
not
how
as
tiny
large
Darby
as
actually
Sentinel or
is.
Ruma.
So he could be lifted up by his neck if one so choose.
You could attempt.
Yo, is
Again,
Ruma
I don't
about
want
to hit
to.
him
I
with
don't
the
want to
choke
cause a
slam?
scene. I don't want to cause a scene here.
I don't
So-
either. So, I do have a
So-
question. I'm curious. I want to know what the deal Gamar gave you is. How much of a cut is he taking from this tax?
Well, he's taking a fair share, 50%. But
Ooh.
he's informed all of us that it's all going into a special savings fund for us. That it's going to help us in our retirement when we're finally unable to do this anymore.
Oh,
He's referring it to
no.
as a GO1K. I don't quite know
Oh,
what it
wow.
means. But
Oh,
supposedly we'll get a huge return on investment when we finally retire.
man, you
Okay,
all
well,
got screwed,
goodbye.
huh?
The
Before-
future of
Idiots.
retirement's better than a pension.
So, Dr. Jamie Watts is gonna turn around and he's just gonna leave. There's like, there's a wall, right? This is like a wall.
It's a full wall you can scale.
Yeah, I'll leave and I will just fly over it and come
That's
back.
fine. So, Dr. Watts, to kind of get away from these guys, you'd probably have to be about here on the map. So you're a little far from the party at this point. But,
Yeah, I was like,
I mean, you enter the city without any issue. As for the rest of you,
I will palm 75 gold because that is 30 plus 45, and I will hand it to the gentleman. But as he's taking it from my hand, I will hold on to his hand, and I will ask Ruma to cast, or it's either Ruma or Sentinel. I can't remember who has it, but the Zone of Truth spell.
I
That would
got
be
I think
Ruma.
it's Ruma.
Yeah, Ruma
Yep.
would have that.
Zone of Truth.
I could have it, but I did not.
I will cast it gladly.
All right. It's an instant, right?
Yep, it is
Yes.
instant.
And Ruma knows who
let's
passes
see.
and fails.
Yes, it is a charisma saving throw. They have to beat a 17.
One sec. I actually
But
have to
he
look
can,
at this.
but he can choose to fail it,
Yes, he can choose to fail.
He can
and
choose
Ruma
to fail.
does know if he has passed or
and
failed.
I will verbalize that he will know if you.
No, he technically passes, but he chooses to fail because he
Okay,
has no
perfect.
reason not to.
Okay.
Except he did the deal.
Perfect.
All right, Governor. The
What-
weird, strange folk that you're talking about, this guy. Not everything's been so hot here in Igarith, and Gamar's done his best to keep us paid, keep us fat and happy, but he hasn't quite done the best of jobs.
Never does.
There's a little bit of a movement.
Never does.
Kind of running down the ley lines of the system, you could say. Stretching out all over different places. And they pop up here and there, and they cause a little bit of a mischief, you could say. Now, I don't mind a little bit of mischief. It means I get to crack some skulls, make a little extra gold here and there, but There's been rumors recently that there's something big coming to Igareth. Something that this little upstart jump little group has started putting together. Something that's really gonna hurt Gamar where it's gonna hurt him. I don't quite know what that means, but I plan to take my money and be long gone by the time they dare do something like that, Governor. The man you describe seems to run with these people. Some girl supposedly putting together this big, explosive thing of hers. I'm sure if you asked around the collapse here, you might find where they're gathering. Might even recommend the pits. Check those out. Just watch yourself. Your faces are a touch known to this place. You don't think I don't recognize that that's the Ponta there, Governor? And I don't think I don't recognize your big feathered friend. I just like gold a little bit more than I like Gamar. So, take that as you will. I am a little bit more reasonable. There are some here who like to be Employee of the Month and get their face up on a wall. They're not so reasonable, Governor.
Appreciate the honesty. Before the spell runs out, Arthur will also ask him where he lives.
It lasts for 10 minutes, so you got time.
Yeah, you got plenty of time. That's a long spell.
Did you
Where
like
do you
to
live?
where I live beforehand or
Now.
Now, where are you sleeping now?
At least to put some of us up in the Baron's Keep where the bourgeoisie used to flaunter about. It's ours now. Finally, the little people have come up a bit and taken what's theirs.
No, thank you very much. We'll be on our way then.
All right.
As I'm passing, I will pat him on the shoulder and I will tell him, might want to consider renegotiating your deal. 50% is quite a lot.
It's all going to the Geo 1K.
You're gonna see none of that.
There's no Geo 1K.
I hate to break it to you. Former employee, see you around.
You should unionize.
Honestly, you should attempt it. It would really throw a whole wrench in his whole operation.
Gamar and unionizing would be
He is the biggest union buster this side of Elyssia, that's for sure.
all right. Dr. Watts, you're able to meet up with them in collapse.
Yep. You see me just.
You're just hanging
show
out.
up.
You
I was
probably
like,
you
yeah.
might have bought like something from a stand, like some food, and you're just eating it, waiting for them to come in.
Ugh. Yeah, no, we should. That was. Did you get any good information out of them?
We
We
did,
did.
indeed, yeah.
It was
looks
very
like
expensive.
Gamar does not have his hands on Mr. Ellington.
And we'll be
and
getting
he's-
our money
Interesting.
back when we leave. Very generous individual.
I mean,
He,
All right.
happened
And they're
certainly
still
get it
alive?
some
They're
Ruma's
alive.
gonna
they're
mug
alive.
this guy.
I did that for Ruma. I asked him where he lived for Ruma's sake.
They're
Just
still
ran him into the
alive,
little
everybody
library
there?
walk in.
We said we were gonna pay him more on the way out, weren't we? That's ensuring we're gonna see him again, and I'm just
Uh-huh.
gonna mug the shit out of him.
I'd like that 75
but-
gold back, please.
But now he knows. Now he knows we know where he lives. But apparently in the pits, there's a somewhat uprising being formed with, I believe,
Okay.
what they were describing is Seymour's daughter and Seymour.
Yes.
So he's not been
Interesting.
caught by Gamar yet. So we're beating that to the punch, which is great because if he was in Gamar's purview, that would be no.
Are the pits a fight pit? And I'm gonna.
Yeah,
have
do
to
we-
go
They are a fighting arena.
Have I
Oh,
heard of the
Ruma's
pits
gonna go
before?
Rambo.
Oh yes,
Oh,
Jamie, you know all about the pits.
I'm-
You've probably volunteered and treated people to the pits because people get messed up in there.
And I'm,
Okay.
I'm sure I have placed many bets in the pit.
And yes, Darby, you've probably
Yeah,
placed
we-
quite a few bets. Honestly, Azrael, if you've ever sailed in and out of this city before, you know what the pits are. Ruma
Oh,
might
yeah.
be the only one, and Sentinel, he's just not here. Would all
Baby
be probably the only two that aren't familiar.
Okay, well then let's head in that direction. I'll be like, all right, well that seems like a good enough place as any to go. Though if Gamar likes betting, then he will also probably have someone that's around there.
Yeah.
All right, so following
Maybe
Dr.
we can make
Watts,
some of that money back too.
you head to the pits, which is this sort of domed kind of building. It's not really a dome, it's got like a large awning, and you actually enter it and go down like stairs into it. And you step onto this like wooden floor as you go a few steps down, and it is just water soaked and logged. and you get this like musty, moldy, mildewy scent just from all of the standing city water, because the pits is nearby where the encroaching seawater is, and in the arena, which is like a dirt, sandy kind of area, you just see giant pockets of water. You see all these people gathered around, just yelling and cheering. They're throwing gold on the tables as people are taking bets, and you see these 2 huge gorgs in the middle of the arena with just giant clubs, just beating each other into a bloody pulp. And this goes on for a couple minutes before one of them hits the other in the knee, and you hear this horrible, just cracking sound, and you see the knee bone shut out, ripping through its flesh, and he falls over. The other Gorg grabs him by the throat, pulls him up, sticks his hand to his jaw, just snaps his jaw open, throws him to the ground, and the crowd erupts wildly. People are throwing silver and gold into the ring as tips as the Gorg brings his hands and eggs them on for more. It's a little bit different than you remember it.
It's
You're muted.
quite a lot more violent out here, it seems.
Yeah, it was not death matches from what I remember. Something horrible has happened.
Usually put more like show matches.
Mm.
People used to squash beef sometimes.
Yeah,
Not
I don't know
murder
what this
each
is.
other in cold blood.
But does this look like the effects of the beckoning sickness? Because I know sometimes it makes people do weird stuff.
No, this is probably just the fact that Gamar's turned this place into a shithole.
Okay, well, good.
People go to their base instinct when they're praying.
I was gonna say he's let terrible people take over and run this place, so he's just letting them do whatever he wants.
Heard.
You know, I guess I'll kind of do a quick scan, because
Yeah.
assuming I'd frequented, I mean, not frequented, but was here a few times gambling, I'd assume I'd also have like a contact or some kind of inside man helping me rig my bets. I want to see if there's anyone still here like that.
And also,
Yeah, Darby, you kind of are scanning the area, and you see he's kind of got a hood over his head. He's tingling his fingers a little bit. He's got a little bit of a twitch. He is a beast person, kind of long hair covering one side of his face. One of his pointed ears is missing. He's got a scar over his eye. But this is Gylus, your contact that you had here. That he ran the bets, essentially. You befriended him back in the day, and you gave him a little bit of a cut of what you won, but he made sure that you did a pretty good job most of the time.
I will turn to the group and I guess just say, I'll be just a minute. I've got to go talk to someone real quick, and I'll head over to him.
Yep. He doesn't really look up at you. He's kind of just sitting there. He's looking in the ring, and they're watching as people just come up and grab this dead Gorg and drag it out of the thing. Just blood and shit is just left all over the sandy, wet floor.
Man, clearly how the times change, huh?
Yeah. By God, man! Not after the murder. Oh my goddess. Is that you, Darby?
In the flesh, more than that guy.
I figured you'd been dead.
No. It's been a while, though. Violence wasn't really my thing, yeah. People are better.
Yeah, a little bit more financy. What brings you back?
We're looking for someone. Very fancy gentleman. A little weird, like some strange music. Not the guy running the place, though, unless it is him, but probably not.
Well, you're describing a bit of Gamar to me, but he doesn't set foot in these parts. Now, he's more interested in the rest of the city. Essentially, this is where everyone goes to blow off a little bit of steam.
Seems like a little bit more than steam.
Little bit more now. Things are a bit different, a bit bloodier. I no longer run the betting rings anymore. They threw me out a few years ago, so I just bide my time and collect a scrap a few here from lucky winners. It's difficult to eat when you don't have a job anymore. And those that don't go along with Gamar's ways don't have jobs.
Oh, I'm very aware.
So
But
what can I help you with?
You don't happen to know anyone else, though, that's similar. And I'll start, like, giving a description of the Duke as well.
Black hair, gray skin, light blue shirt.
You dare describe someone
very vibrant
interesting.
colors. Likes a thing called
Sounds
the
like
Bee
somebody
Gees.
moving. Sounds like somebody moving with well, I don't necessarily want to speak the name.
No,
I'd hate to
you know,
cause any ruckus for any of us.
of course.
You know the old door that sometimes we'd escort you out, take you down the back when it kind of became apparent you were fucking around a little bit and we needed to get you out of there? For a little bit extra money, obviously. But
Of course, of course.
if you go back out that door, there's another one to your right. You never entered that one. That was sort of a hidden passage down underground in the city. If you're looking for this man, or the leader of this resistance movement, it's where you're gonna find them. But I didn't tell you that.
No, of course not. Of course not. And
And if you
I'll
wouldn't,
actually pass him. How much money do I have? I'll pass him like 15 gold. Why not?
you hold it out and he just grabs it from your hand and he's looking at it and he goes,
I always liked you, Darby. You're a fair man. Fairer than your master ever was.
Well, fair is a strong word.
Well, you were fair to me and that's all that matters.
I'm sort of the ones that help me rig the system.
Mhm. Well, I'll take it. Thank you. And good luck to you. Standing up against Gamar is, well, head to the market district if you ever want to see what those who stand up against Gamar end up like.
Well, unfortunately, I've been planning this for a long time. But this is not how I intended it to go.
Well, good luck.
Good luck to you. Try to not lose on some of these deaths.
I don't bet anymore. I just watch and hopefully collect something.
Fair enough. I'll start heading back to the group.
All right.
Well, that was a fun interaction. Might know where we need to go.
Ghost from the past paid off.
Yeah, when you rig every bet you ever make, you tend to make some friends that have connections to help you get those bets to be a success. And I'll start leading them towards the back entrance.
all
Or the
right.
back
So you
exit
kind
or
of,
whatever.
so right now you're kind of in an upper like mezzanine overlooking the arena. It's kind of a circular dome. So you actually lead them to another set of stairs that brings you down to the same level as the arena. There's more people down there kind of watching from that eye level. You kind of begin wading and shifting your way through these crowds, of which you see, I mean, obviously common looking people, but there's also people outfitted in like the garb that you saw when you entered the city. More of Gamar's lackeys, I guess you could call them. They're kind of policing the city, except these people aren't policing the city. They're literally making bets and just enjoying themselves at this point. They don't seem to pay anything any mind except until two more fighters come out and start beating the piss out of each other. Darby, you kind of come to this side creaky door. It doesn't really stand its hinges very well. It's angled slightly. There's like a giant notch hole in it. And you just kind of slide it open and you step out into this waterlogged kind of hallway that pathway that leads down. And if you kept going down the path, you'd eventually probably end up in water that's about ankle deep, which is totally different than what you remember when you were last year gambling, because you could take this path all out of the pits. It seems the water has risen quite a bit, but fortunately for you, the door that you're looking for is just before the water hits your ankles.
Used to be a lot drier down here.
Global
This
warming's a bitch.
Should be the way through if my pulmonary contact is correct. And I'll, I guess, attempt to open the door.
It is locked.
Not surprised.
I got this.
It's kind of
I
like a
got
big,
this.
I'd say there's a big like padlock chain on the front of it.
Ruben
I
will
will-
knock on the door.
Yeah, I was
Oh, I
just
was
saying,
gonna
before we
open
try
it.
to open this door forcefully, why don't we ask if someone's there? Clearly,
We said there's a padlock on it on the outside, which means that anybody on the other side of the door wouldn't be able to open it.
you make a good argument, actually. Still, it's probably worth it just in case.
Wait, hold on. There's magic in the world, so I'm pretty sure they could unlock it if they needed to. But
That's
I mean,
true.
I
understand your
guess, but I mean, like, not everybody's got magic. You don't get to do this.
I'm just.
I mean, I can teleport through doors if there's a window.
Would you like to
Okay.
try?
I need to be able to see the other.
Arthur,
Yeah.
Arthur would like to make a memory check to see if he can remember the beat to a Bee Gees song and then knock on the door to the Bee Gees song.
I won't make you roll for it, but no, it doesn't do anything. Let's say you remember like the opening to "Staying Alive" or like the da 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 "Staying Alive," but it doesn't do anything.
Okay.
Okay, you can
Fair
pick the lock out by all means.
Oh, okay.
So
Are you
Dr.
sure?
Watt,
We don't
before
want to.
you
No, I just wanna
make a
make
roll,
sure.
before you make a roll for me here, you kind of go with your thieves' tools to get yourself in there, and you notice this isn't like a regular chain padlock. This is a highly designed, intricate, lot of moving part locks with multiple ways to like shift and move and adjust parts here. This was not made by your standard locksmith. This was made by a genius.
Oh, dang. Well, this is going to be really interesting. Let me
What's the
try it
door
out.
Made of?
What?
What's the door made of?
I mean, wood.
Don't break it down.
That's,
Alright.
We don't want
Let me-
to alert anyone outside, though. I guess actually, if you're going to break it down, wait until
There's
one
a
of the
fight
guys.
pit with a cheering
I
crowd.
know. Wait
Nobody
until
would
one of the
know.
guys dies, so it's
but
too
if
loud
this
for
is the
anyone to
secret
hear.
base
Dang.
to the people we want to befriend, ruining their doors not the best way to do that.
It's
I am going to use my pearl of
Roommating their
whatchamacallit
door.
Yeah.
because I rolled the worst I could possibly roll. So I am going to use my inspiration to do that again. There we go. That is a
Okay.
23.
All right.
That's pretty good.
So it takes you quite a bit of time, longer than a normal lock would, but Dr. Watts, you're kind of able to see it's not really a regular lock, it's almost like a puzzle box. And there's certain aspects that you have to like turn and shift and spin to actually get the keyhole to even form where you can get your thieves tool in there, and then you're able to kind of jimmy it in and begin picking it. But then you also have to begin shifting things back into different ways to change the shape of the lock to get your thieves tools to turn in the proper ways. And after about 5 minutes, you just hear the ka-chink, and it falls off.
Oh, sweet. I'm going to pocket that.
All right, you have this incredibly special lock.
Super lock. All right.
It's the new super master
Hey,
lock.
if you
32.
look at it closely, the bottom is inscribed ME.
M-E. I don't know what that... Oh, yeah. It's, what's her face?
Yeah, it's his daughter's initials. His
Yeah.
vampire daughter.
Yeah.
Fake daughter.
So I'm going to... Yeah, and also we should probably figure that out at some point.
Yeah.
But...
That's fine.
Well, we
Yeah.
are living beings. You can have other children in.
Well, I know, but it was like... But you know what I mean? Like, that seems like
Right.
a... She's also a vampire, so you know what I mean? There's like a lot of
Oh
things.
no,
going on.
I totally understand the weirdness of it. I was just saying it would essentially be being like him having a child with one person and then moving on and having another person.
Or using his Archon powers to create a vampire
Correct.
daughter because
Yes.
vampires can't have
Which is
children.
real weird. Yes.
I mean,
Oh.
we don't know of any wives he's had, so.
I mean, like biologically, vampires.
It's
can't have
married
children.
to the beach.
He could have
right.
had the daughter, then made himself a vampire, then turned.
And
her
then
into-
made
turn into a
some.
vampire, or maybe he was
Archon
always a vampire.
I think we're
here.
getting hung up on the wrong
Yeah.
thing.
Regardless, we
Yeah.
should probably open this door and stop having the conversation right here and
Here you go.
move.
All
It
right.
is opened.
Yep, so you guys enter. It is an incredibly small room. With sentinel size, you're barely all able to fit into this thing, and you kind of shut the door behind you. You notice that there is a lock on this side. It is currently in the unlocked state. So there's a regular lock on this door as well. So this room, there's like a small table in there. There's a lantern to kind of give it a little bit of light. And then it descends down in the same path that the outer exit did. And you just see before you a giant pool of water. It's dark, you can barely see, but it just goes down and down and down until you would have to go under the water to swim.
Okay. Okay.
Either
Wants
there.
to
I'm gonna- I'll drop a light
Swimming.
down.
Hey, somebody's got detect magic, I imagine. Huh?
So you just toss a light into the pool.
I
Then,
actually
Jamie.
don't think I do.
Yeah. I have
Alright.
one of my
Technically,
magical
Sentinel
tinkery
does.
things.
Oh yeah, Sentinel.
Yeah,
does.
Sentinel can sniff
Detect
out
magic.
what's magic around.
Yeah.
Ah,
that
Well, let's
ability.
see if it's just water first. So if anything happens to your light first.
Yeah, I drop a
so-
little light in there.
Yep, so Jamie, you toss a light kind of thing, and it just hits the water and sinks down, and it kind of gives off this faint, like, greenish glow. I'm gonna assume it's green because I think that's cool. And you just see it's just this
Just a
long
glow stick.
pathway that's underwater you'd have to swim through.
And
And
the water's not clear. It's murky.
It's murky. It's murky and dirty. Yeah, very murky and dirty.
Okay, well, we're kind of able to swim down there, I guess. Cool. Well, Jamie's just gonna start going in there, right?
Question. Well, before you do that, quick
Mhm.
question for you, DM. This isn't something that I've asked you before, so let me know if I'm wrong. Since Arthur is essentially half spectral, do I need to breathe?
At this point, I'll say no.
Okay,
hey.
how about I just walk through the bottom of the ocean like Pirates of the Caribbean style and see how long it takes me to get there? That way you're not like halfway under there. Realize I don't have enough air. I can tell you the distance. Come back and tell you the distance.
That's not gonna be a problem. I'll come with you.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
Yeah.
You're-
He can make
Yeah.
people breathe underwater. Or you can
It's
give
not gonna be a
people the
problem for me.
ability. Yeah.
Okay.
You
All right,
can alter
so
stuff.
Dr. Watson, Azrael, or Arthur, because that's what you're calling
Yeah,
yourself.
both of them.
Yeah, really,
uh,
okay.
You guys begin to descend down into the water. You know, it starts pretty low, but the further down you get the tunnel, it rises and rises, and you're swimming, and you begin making your way down this murky tunnel path. Very hard to see. You've picked your light up, Dr. Watts. You're kind of holding it in front of you to see, like, what's in front of you. Just a lot of dirt and grime and garbage and junk like that. Takes you about 3 minutes in this path before you actually begin to see, like, light. And not like I'll just walk up. It's like light at the top of, above you. Like there's an opening.
Okay. I'll surface to see what the light is.
So you surface, and this moment you surface, about 10 people immediately jump up as they hear you, and all these swords and weapons get drawn out. They're like, holy shit!
I will motion for Jamie to like stay under the water so they think it's just me.
Okay.
Just so he doesn't like also get like accosted. And I will then raise both my hands out. Do I recognize anybody in the room?
None of these people. They look to be downtrodden people that are just like here. They are equipped with weapons, but they're not well equipped. Some of them are in kind of tattered rags. Maybe some of them look a little nicer in their clothes, but they just look hungry and scared and stuff. Especially since you just popped up out of the water and giving your look. They're even more freaked out. The one
Random
guy
weird
is like,
ghost man shows
"Bastard
up.
beckoning, coming to kill us!" And he goes to stab you.
No beckoning here. We come in peace. We are friends of Seymour and his daughter.
Mila.
Yes, Mila.
You just spoke the name of the,
I don't know the passphrase, but we
Well,
we
it's not
enjoy
really
the
a-
Bee Gees.
If he knows what the Bee Gees are, then, well, I guess come on up.
Okay, and then I'll message Ocean. There are more of us. We have several members.
How
Emily.
many more?
So it would be Sentinel, Darby, and Ruma, Jamie. So 4 more other than me.
And the system.
Oh,
And the
no, the system's not with us.
Oh, that's
I
right.
thought
Sorry.
Sentinel was babysitting the system.
No,
No,
Sentinel's with
Ezra.
us.
Ezra.
Mm.
Yeah, we have Sentinel.
Back with Ezra in the dragon battle.
The Black Dragon is babysitting you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So I only have 1 with me now, but back on the other side of this water, I have 3 others.
Well, send him this way.
Okay.
You can't say Bee Gees and not have me think you don't at least know what you're talking about.
All right, I will. I'll have Jamie come up. I'll tell him you need to get everybody else over here, but you're breathe underwater because 3 minutes. I don't know if they can hold their breath for 3 minutes to get across.
Depends on the Constitution score, ironically.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I think
Pretty
Rumor
sure Rumor
probably
can.
could.
Ruma and Sentinel should be fine. Darby's the question.
Me,
Ruma's gonna walk
don't know
through
if I
it
can
in
hold
its
my breath
heavy
alone.
armor.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're in heavy armor.
I mean, to be fair, it is mithril, so
I'm not
light
gonna make
heavy
anyone.
armor.
It's just a cool way to get to the base. I'm not
Yeah.
making anyone roll to see if they make the journey.
Okay.
Maybe Darby turns purple a little bit. Ruma's
Ooh.
just dragging him along.
I want
come up
Darby to have
coughing
to
water.
drown.
Oh. Whew. That's a
Give mouth to mouth from Dr.
Maybe.
Jamie.
maybe drain some of that water if you can. That's a very long journey.
That's like one of our secret hidden places. Now, if you're a part of the movement, Mila has a system that actually transports us via magic down through the water and out, but it's currently on this side.
Good to know.
Well, I'm glad.
If you want to come, I mean, there's several other exits throughout the city, obviously, but that's how we do it. So you kind of went the dumb way. You really came in the stupidest way.
That's kind of our
we like to
bread
do
and butter.
that. We like to
Honestly,
come in
looking at your
difficult
group, the
possible.
only thing I can imagine is that you do the dumbest things possible.
Oh,
Wow,
definitely.
what is this dude's problem?
Very rude.
He's
but
got us
not.
pegged.
Yeah, he's not. He's not
What?
wrong.
I know that this is ridiculous. I know this guy's not talking. Look at you, your dusty ass area.
Now, some of us are trying to live,
Please
but
stop fighting people. Please stop picking fights with the people we need help from, Jamie.
What are you even?
They're
He
on our
started
side.
it. I didn't even say anything. He just insulted me. I showed up ready to help. God damn. I'm
Anyways.
dumb. I'm the smartest person literally alive.
Well,
Yeah.
well, definitely in the room right now for sure. Alive? We don't know every person that's ever lived.
I do.
That's pretty. That's
You
presumptuous.
know, actually, that's. You know everyone that has ever
you've
lived.
also
I don't
forgotten
know. I think Mila might give you a run.
Yeah,
for
it's like
your money.
Mila, I
Pretty
think,
invalid.
is more what I was
Alive.
getting at, but
That is why I designated
I guess,
alive.
yeah, I guess she's technically an undead. But anyways, this guy that is unnamed, he leads you. He kind of opens the door for you, and you enter a larger room. You seem to have popped up somewhere else here in Collapse. You're not sure, but you're actually in a legitimate like building that's raised up, not underground. And there's several people there. However, the most important people that are there happen to be the Duke and Mila, who are gathered around the table where there's a map, and they're kind of looking over a map. It's of Igarith, and they kind of look up, and Mila has a shocked look on her face. The Duke just immediately goes, "Oh, it is our friends. It is good to see you. Oh my God, how did you find us so easily?"
You can knock off the accent. We know it's fake.
yeah,
No, this is how I talk now.
Okay, whatever.
This is who I am. The only ways that this accent would change is if I became like Bee Gees and talked like Barry Gibb.
Would
Okay.
Rosemary recognize you if you talked that way?
Ugh. Somebody has been fishing around a little bit, I can tell. Seems that you have gotten in contact with something that is a little bit above station. Though it makes sense at this point.
We gotta fix the mess we made.
I
Don't
wouldn't
like that.
necessarily say that this is your mess to fix. It is technically my mess to fix, though I am totally powerless at this point to do that. Maybe it is best that we talk here. I have a feeling that you have not come just to say hello to me or my lovely daughter, or even to rid us of our strife here in Igarith, as this is a larger issue.
Well, the last piece I think we may actually end up tackling, but yes, you are right. We did not come here just to liberate Icarus. We came here to liberate the world.
I will let Mila discuss her end of things after we have completed our end of things. She is quite aware at this point of everything that has befallen Elyssia, the other worlds, and the system. Why don't we step into another room and we can talk more privately? It is not knowledge to everyone in this room and could cause quite a bit of a concern.
Sure.
Oh god.
He kind of, leads you guys to the room. Mila greets you all. She says, "Yeah, I kind of assumed you all were dead at this point, so it is really good to see you."
Well, I'm halfway there, but good to see you too.
I mean, you're about as dead as I am, so
Great to see you, Mila.
it is great to see you too.
Yeah. I heard that you have some sort of transportation system that you were.
Yeah,
Doing-
for the water thing, it's a little magical device. It hits you, puts you in a bubble, shrinks you, puts you under the water, and then pops you out on the other side, and the bubble pops.
See, I've been working on a dimensional transportation situation
Interesting.
without magic, actually, using some of the
Most
fundamental.
interesting.
Yeah, I was trying to do it on a massive scale to get over and out of there. It wasn't quite working out, so I've been like, but I'm getting there. I'm getting close. I would love it actually if you you could take a look at some of my diagrams. We
Oh,
could.
by all means. The question I have for you is, how much obsidian have you been using?
Well, see, okay, I've been changing different types of materials into a pseudo
Maybe we should
obsidian.
let these
that
two
allows
leopards
to-
have their own
un-
room, you know?
Understood. No, that is probably a much better way to do that. I was
Mm.
thinking more of just a natural mining route, but if you're able to perform some level of alchemy that can transfer it, especially obsidian, is something far more viable for
guys,
interdimensional
guys,
travel.
let's save.
Yeah, we have. You can get a
Oh.
room and talk about this another time.
But
We have
yes,
other things that we gotta
pressing
deal with
matters.
first. Don't worry, Dr. Watts. We'll
sorry.
give you all the time you need to discuss your plans with her.
scientific foreplay.
Yes. Something like that.
Where's your boyfriend at?
Oh, he's
Just
here. I mean, I don't know where he is right now, but he's here.
okay.
Is he still farming?
Boris?
What was it? Potatoes? Is that what it was?
Screaming
Yeah.
sweets.
Well,
Screaming
there's not.
Sweets?
This isn't really a good environment, I guess, for screaming sweets.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Now he
unfortunate.
just leads some of the soldiers and beats the heck out of some of Gamar's people. I mean, it's kind of impressive. I never really pictured him as doing that, but
I
they
don't think
sort
he
of
is.
pop up in different places and help bring people into the resistance. He just gets sexier by the day.
Yeah,
You know,
sounds
I'm
like it.
sure beating up Screaming Sweets to get them to be ready for food and
Protecting the children.
and beating up Gamar soldiers, probably not too different from each other. I'm sure he's just
Yeah,
imagining them as Screaming Sweets as he.
sure
some
sounds
out.
great. Yeah, we definitely like to beat people up. It sounds
What a
really
hero.
cool.
Yeah.
You just hear Duke Seymour turns around and he goes, I have been most hoping that they conjure up some grandchildren soon. He's like, I'm dead. I can't have grandkids. I literally have to conjure one up, but could do that. So, you may follow the Duke into his
Yes.
right.
Probably get to our important matters and not have a 30-hour conversation about technology.
So you
Excuse
step inside
You
the
can have it
side
later.
room that's in this relatively large house kind of building, and it's small, it's drafty, it's damp, the floors are wet, but there's some chairs in there, nothing comfortable, but Duke Seymour offers you the seats, and he there aren't enough for everyone, so he stands, and I guess Sentinel stands because he can't sit, but he's just kind of looking at birds that just kind of like suck their legs up into their
Yeah.
body and plop down. It's kind of adorable if you've ever owned a bird before, but
Big old sentinel doing it.
big old Sentinel just loafing.
Squatting like a chicken.
Yep.
Just nesting in the middle of this
Yeah.
very grungy room.
I am going to do something that I told myself I would never do again. I'm going to drop my accent.
Oh, it's been a while.
It has. Not since you made me have a midlife crisis.
Oh,
But maybe I should thank you for that. Good things have happened.
Hmm.
I believe I know the answer. Why are you here?
Well, we've unearthed the system, or as you know her, Rosemary, and have deprived Braska of the ability to access her.
It's a good thing that you did that.
We are now here seeking you out because you are one of the few people who will retain the powers of said system once we start knocking off the other people in line. And we need you to, for lack of a better term, bequeath your powers upon receiving them, or end like the rest of the Archons, so that we can restore this world.
It is a task that I am more than happy to do. The only thing that I ask is that you hear me out for a little bit. I don't believe it necessarily fair to this world to allow it to wonder exactly why it left, why it remains in this state, what led to this state, everything about it. Because I was the one that had the biggest hand in all of this, and every day I regret seeing what's happened to it. By now, I believe that you've met all of the Archons. Myself, Gamar, Sue, Aster. Perhaps some of the other ones you haven't. They've long been killed by Peter, or he's killed them recently. It's been hard to keep track of everyone in the last 3 years. When I was a younger man, I was married. I had a daughter.
I love my daughter Rosemary more than anything. At the time, I was working for a large corporation. Think of them like Sickle and Sword, but much grander, much greater technology, probably more along the lines of what you've seen your doctor friend and my daughter put together. Truly excellent, wonderful machines, capable of anything. Rosemary got very sick, and there was nothing a doctor could do to help her, and she died. At the time, I was researching a way that would preserve people's consciousnesses, inserting a idea into a spot that would keep that idea alive. So the very first person that I did it with was my daughter, because I wanted to see if I could keep her memory alive. I didn't care about my failed marriage at that point. I didn't care about anything. I only wanted to see her preserved. And then my colleagues saw it, and we all thought that this could be something truly great and wonderful. So we put together a business plan. We put together our minds, the creativity, the science, the financing, the leadership. All of us came together and created this system, which you are all residing at this point. A biological dome, essentially, being controlled by outside forces. Do not mistake what you are. Without what Peter says, without what any of the Archons have told you, you're not made up. You're living, breathing, real biological beings. That was the design of the system, to create a pseudo world. And I modeled that system after Rose. If I was going to keep her memory alive, I was going to ingrain her in the very heart and soul that controls all of this. And that's what started this project. The different worlds, C1 through 18. The first one, a wondrous world of beautiful fantasy. Now, you must understand, fantasy is truly one of my favorite things. I've embraced everything about it, right from the works of Tolkien to Martin to the very game of Dungeons & Dragons itself. I've loved it to the point that I wanted to create an entire world that was exactly like it, that anyone could enjoy. And so I did, and I created a model based upon a land known as Faerun, and I populated it with interesting people and interesting things, and I lived and watched as this world thrived, even through the worst of it all, even through cataclysmic ends. A dragon cult that nearly destroyed it, and I watched very heroes save that world, and it was good. And then the second world came about, because eventually the first one ended. And it was a glorious small kingdom until a terrible vampire lord took it over. And then we created a third, and a fourth, and a fifth, and a sixth, and so on. Each world slowly breaking down and slowly falling apart. The other, the place that you had gone to, that was C-17. The place that your friend Prince of Farin hails from is C-16. All of these worlds still exist, but they've been broken away from the original vision. But not C-19. C-19 was to be the final, perfect realization of everything that we wanted, and we had achieved it at that point. We had proven that we could insert a person's conscience into the world, and that they could thrive and live there. We did it every day. We linked ourselves into the system and lived as the Archons, controlling things, watching things grow and change, become better, watching things get destroyed. But the system was always there to protect it. Finally, 2 children of the project, the Archons, became very sick. One of them was in a car accident and nearly died, so they thought to put them in here. And in Peter, as you'd know them as. And they thrived. They thrived a little bit too much. But before all of that, we had gotten to the point that we could sell this. This was no longer a game. This was no longer a
pet project. This was no longer me trying to keep something that I had lost. This was a real, tangible thing that people could put their loved ones into and live an entirely different life and know that they were there and safe. And the best part about it is the system would continue to keep their conscience and mind alive. In one moment, they could live an entire life as a lord, powerful ruler of a city, in luxury. And they're surrounded by their family, they die of old age, only to immediately wake up at a babe's party, to live the life of an adventurer who'd go out and fight dragons and save the day. The possibilities were limitless for them. But then we hit a snitch. Then we hit a problem. We weren't believed. The people that wanted to see this system work didn't want it for that reason. They wanted it for money. They wanted it for something that they could sell to people, like a game. The ultimate video game, you could say. Live out your favorite life, your fantasy life here in a beautiful world. It didn't sit well with some of us. A few of us made the ultimate decision. We were going to prove to all of them our vision and ideal. And some of them were going to stay back to sell it. Myself and several others, we patched ourselves into the system. And we cut ourselves off from our mortal bodies. Back where I come from, the body of Duke Seymour Ellington, my name that I've chosen here, is gone. He's dead. I've long lost all bodily function. My mind simply resides in Elyssia. The same thing happened to Hastia. The same thing happened to Sue. We all made that sacrificial decision to prove the point. But we were betrayed. Gamar, as you know him, and another man by the name of Robert Stevenson, a lawyer who was doing most of the work for us to keep everything kosher and right with the system, decided that they were going to sell it to the very people that we did not want to sell them to. And when they did that, they also entered the system and now muck around in here as they see fit. Obviously, you know the whole story of Peter at this point. It seems that giving a user such godlike powers, the ability to influence things, may not have been the best idea, as power can corrupt people in ways that you wouldn't actually imagine in a place like this. And I had every ability and right to stop it. And when I finally decided I was going to, they took that power away from me. I no longer have access to the system. I haven't for millennium. Since before Peter has become his bastard name and the first beckoning happened, I've had my rights stripped away, forced to reside in this world, dead to the rest of it, like some fool, you could say. I was very bitter and angry about it for a long time. Along the way, I decided to become a vampire, I guess you could say. I couldn't die for the most part. I was so powerful by then that what was a little vampirism gave me something to do. And then I became hateful and terrible and a tyrant. And then I decided in a moment that I didn't like the fact that I was by myself anymore, that Rose was now this distant thing that I could no longer access. I couldn't even look at my daughter anymore. So I created Mila, a vampire daughter that I thought would keep me company. And then I created her, and I watched her be and grow, and I realized that this isn't just for me. This isn't just for Rose. It's not for Peter. It's not for Anna. It's not for anyone else that would try to be inserted into the system. It is for you people. This isn't data. This isn't make-believe. This is a real, contained environment that grows and changes. So I changed my ways the best I could. I no longer had access to the powers that would allow me to truly right the wrongs, so I simply had to do it in the way that I could, to try to be the best soul that I could be. That's about the time that I decided that, hey, might as well devote my time to something a little silly, make people smile a little bit. Why not an entire religion based on my favorite band? Kind of stupid, but it gave me something to do for a few hundred years.
The point I'm trying to make, though, is that a lot of this has been handled by very poor people. Humans, unfortunately, myself included. I don't know what happened or transpired that brought Gamar here permanently. I wonder if he may have been betrayed at some point as well. But once Peach is gone, he is the next one in line to access the system. And trust me, I know that's what he's looking for. And then that would fall to me, and then it would fall to Marilli. Since she has the access of Anne, she'd be the final person to have it. That's essentially my tale. Maybe a little bit messy. If you have any questions, by all means, I can try to elaborate a touch more.
You're disgusting.
Well,
At least you answered Dr. Watt's question before we came in here. He was wondering about the whole daughter situation.
it's what I attempted to do in the moment. But I'll say I don't regret it, because I actually think that you've really proven all of yourselves. Not just this group, but Elyssia as a whole. With the exception of a few bad eggs, it has developed itself into a beautiful society, and I love watching it every day.
Yeah, no, you and all the Archons, you're disgusting. You're the worst
Why
type
do
of
you
person.
say that? I'm just curious. I don't disagree with you, but I'm just curious your thoughts on that.
You decided to create something for your pastime, for your pleasure and fun, and to escape whatever humdrum life that you led, wherever it is you led it. And then you created a world full of people that are actual people. And instead of making it idyllic, where people don't age or get sick or get hungry or have inequality or be orphaned, you decide to not do that. You wanted a world where you could be heroes. How fun for you. Except for the rest of us still got sick. The rest of us still had dads who couldn't stop drinking, or orphanages full of kids to blow up with their pirate ships, and people who needed to sell their souls to who knows whom for whatever sort of power in order to survive. And then all of a sudden, when you get bored, you make yourself into a blood-drinking monster and think it's cool to just hang out and sing songs as a form of recompense? Yeah, no, you're disgusting. All of you are disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Not because of what Braska's doing or Peter's doing or whatever that. For this, the concept of it as a whole, you did this and you were wrong to do it. You should have known that.
I will not 100% disagree with this. But you're saying now at this point, you would rather not exist.
No, we're gonna exist.
You are completely capable of doing this if you wish. All you need is the power, and you can have the system wipe all of this if you wish.
No,
Peach
we're
is
gonna
trying to do it right.
No, we're gonna protect the people who were created for your enjoyment, and make sure that none of you can do anything more to us.
Well, at this point, the Archons, except Gamar, are essentially completely powerless. He's the only one that remains, and I have zero access to the system. Unless one of the two of them decides to grant it to me, or both die, I'm not going to get it back.
Well, that is the plan.
Yeah, we do have
Not that they're not going to willingly give it up, and Gamar is the easier the
Understandably.
fish to fry. So you will be getting access to the system. Your story,
I will not be getting access to the system,
when Gamar and Braska are dead, you're next in line.
Yeah.
because I don't intend to even think to wield the power. At this point, the power resides, in my opinion, to the people of Elyssia. Not to Gamar, not to Peter, not to myself. I will relinquish it before I even have it by departing from this world, even if it means I no longer am alive.
That extreme, but
It's the only way. I have lived so many millennia in this place, and though I've loved to watch it, in the end, all I want to do is what is right. Your doctor friend is right. the initial intention of all of this was inherently horribly selfish. But at this point, there's nothing I can do or change about that, except to return what is rightfully the people of Elyssia to the people of Elyssia. No bounds to archons, no bounds to gods or goddesses planted by us, no bounds to anything. Which leads to the next thing. Cutting yourself off completely from the system. Where we stand, someone will be able to access this, possibly reinsert themselves into this place, into C-19 specifically. There is a way for you to completely remove yourself from the system. Form a, essentially, pocket world that is not easily accessible or even found. And Elyssia can live out its completely natural existence as a real living and breathing world without some overseen element to keep it running. It's truly in your hands at that point, what you choose to do with it, whether it's to let it thrive, to let it burn, to destroy it completely. It's up to the people of Elysius. Not me, not anyone else. That is something that when you obtain the system's power, you will be able to have it do. It's kind of a nuclear option, but it's what you could do.
That has been the idea floated around. The only concern is, to our knowledge, it also removes all magic from the world.
And magical beings, as far as we're aware.
Well, yeah, that was our question. Will
A possibility, depending on how it is removed. Should the actual system holder, the user with full access to it, they can have the system essentially leave a section of itself that will maintain your world's magic while separating the rest of it. There will be a small tie, but not one would easily find. And that should keep things the way that you would believe them to be.
That's more hopeful than we originally had thought. So
That's
thank you for that
better
information.
than what we were originally going to have to do. Makes things a lot easier, or makes it an easier decision. Well, I mean, obviously, as we've already said, Gamar is currently on the list of people that need to die. And he's currently right at the top, because we are incapable of dealing with Braska at the moment. But Gamar might be a touch easier.
You did mention that Gamar, at least to your knowledge, still had a human body, so could very easily reattempt to re-enter C-19.
As far as I'm aware, Gamar was put in here and he has no access to his body anymore.
So he was betrayed by somebody, by your lawyer friend?
Most likely our lawyer friend. He seems to have pulled a few strings. Even inserted his own son in here. Don't know why. Strange.
Oh, did you just make that connection?
I was racking my brain as to, I recognize Stevens as the last name. Who was Stevens? And then I was just like,
Joel Stevenson.
freaking Joel's dad.
Oh shit,
Joel's
that's
dad
what
is
that
alive.
is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been wondering what's been going on.
Am I the only one that picked up on that as soon
damn.
as Stevenson came
Yeah.
out?
No,
Good job,
I forgot
yeah.
Joel's last name was Stevenson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's Joel's
damn.
dad.
Yep.
The lawyer's Joel's dad who's just screwed everybody up. Wow.
And then just put Joel in this thing?
Yeah.
Then where's Joel's body?
Joel got hit by a car.
Oh yeah. Oh shit.
Remember though, you can enter the system with a body. So
Right.
that is
Yes,
that
you
is
can.
the thing.
Right. Yes.
You don't actually know if he's stuck here like Braska or Ann and Peter were, or if he's
Yeah.
linked in. So it's kind of an up for air thing.
He could be.
So the other question comes is if you separate the system as well, what happens to Joel?
Oh, that's true.
Great.
Yeah. Didn't think about that. Because the only way for people like Joel to exist is through a connection with the system. Severing the connection could be a problem.
Well, we'd leave if push came to shove, we'd leave that question up for Joel and Morelli to figure out, because Joel could then choose to separate himself from his body if he still has one, kind of like Seymour has.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, that remaining part of the system would keep him alive.
Yeah. What? Yeah. If this gets cut off, I guess I'll ask if this world, if Elyssia gets cut off from the system, would that cut off Joel from his body? Would he
If
be?
he has one, yes. He would
So
either be forced to stay here in Elyssia, or he would be yanked back to his mortal form, assuming it's still there.
So I guess also we're thinking about like if we do this, there's a good chance that Joel either he goes back and might die just from being near death, or he stays here forever.
Right.
And Joel doesn't have access to the system. Would he be next in line after Marili?
I don't believe so.
Or the goddess, whatever her name is?
Yeah, I do not believe so. When he was inserted into the world, he wasn't given the same parameters, you could say, as everybody else. Most of us inserted ourselves with supernatural abilities. Joel came in as a person.
Oh yeah, like a regular person and not
Like a
like
person.
Just as a dude.
As a
not
person.
someone to be subjugated. Okay, cool. That's really fun. Then yeah, I mean, I guess that's something we'll have to talk to Joel about. I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll need to bring that up with Joel
I-
at some point.
As far as extra questions for you, since you intimately know Gamar more than any of us, even more so than Darby
I do.
here,
Yeah.
what
Only
what
work
do
for
you
him.
what can you give us to get at him? What is your plan? I know I've clearly
Yeah.
you've been
You have a
planning
plan
something.
to take him down, from what we
It
understand.
is a plan to take them down. This is not my plan to take them down. I've been staving the plan off. To answer your first question, and Darby, you've known Gamar probably as long as I have, it feels like. Well, I've known him longer, but you know him enough. He's our financier at the time. He was the one that, made sure we had the funding and everything like that. And I think he's the one that was greedy enough to start these terrible chain of events.
Oh yeah.
He's arrogant beyond belief. He believes,
Totally.
I think, that he's already won in a way. That somehow Peter can be manipulated into doing whatever he wants. That he's got him. He's playing the victim, playing the humble servant, but fully plans to get where he wants to. Supersede him. I don't personally believe he'll be able to do that, but don't tell Gamar those things. Peter's given him his little playground. His ego has grown. He thinks that his status has grown. But in reality, he's just a patsy at this point. But he does realize that the system will be his if Braska dies. So, you'd need to find a way into his thing, his dimension. And you would have to kill him there. At that point, Gamar would not have a body in the real world. He will not have a body here, and he will die, just like all of the other Archons, permanently.
Fortunately, I don't
Spout,
have contact to him anymore, and
Spout
unfortunately,
is...
don't have a way to get in.
Well, Mila was coming up with a plan, though I guess I would let her discuss it over me. If you did have a way that you could find into Gamar's hold, we could probably hold off on this plan a little longer to give you guys a chance to do your thing. I would much rather put my faith in this group than I would into something that may or may not work.
What you keep dodging around the question. What is the plan?
I think it'd be best to let her describe it.
Fair enough.
Continuing to
Okay.
question, but sure.
So we need either before or after we figure out her plan, we need to come up with a way to get into Gamar's realm.
Yes,
Do you
which
think you could ask Lilith?
I have
for
not
any
had contact with
knowledge?
Lilith. She could take us there. She's done it before. The problem is, I can't talk to her. I don't know where she is, and I don't know what's going on. It's been silent for however
You
many
must
years at this
start
point.
meowing, young Darby.
Yeah. Why don't you rattle your dish?
don't think that'll get her back if attempting to contact her for who knows how long hasn't gone through. I don't think meowing is going to be it.
Have you
Fair
tried meowing?
Tried it.
Oh God.
No, I haven't.
Well, they pestered Darby. I guess we could go over and hear this plan out before we find a
Meow.
way into.
Meow.
Because the only other idea I have
Ugh.
is just make a scene, go into Igarith and get seen. Because Gamar's gonna want us anyways. He's gonna want the trophies.
Yo.
I mean, taking
All
us
right,
down.
Get
definitely-
captured. Get captured isn't a great plan, but it is one.
I promise after we get
Yeah.
captured, we have to either not die immediately, and then two
Yeah.
have to escape capture,
Yeah.
and then
The
take
game
him down.
from getting captured is like might do really well. In fairness,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's all planned. We could also potentially, I mean,
Well, arrogance will
Alright.
be his downfall. Like his
course.
his need to boast and
his
Host.
desire for everything.
Capture, heist, capture, heist.
reverse
There-
heist. It's a heist where we want
Reverse
to. We
heist.
want to be heisted.
Yeah, we want to get heisted. There's also the potential option if he is seemingly employing people around this area. Perhaps they have a way in, and we could potentially coax them.
yeah, we could go
to
back
let us
to our kneecap friend.
through. Yeah, we
Get
could
your money back.
Yeah, we could get our money back and potentially find our way in if he has a way in.
Yeah.
If they're employed
That's
by
not bad.
Gamar, there's no telling how much power they've been given. From.
Well, and he did tell the truth about this place, so he's clearly bendable.
That's true. That was also an option.
He did say. Oh no, I wasn't there, so I can't say.
Yeah, you don't know what he said.
I don't know what he said.
All right, let's hear this plan out.
Let's hear what this other plan is, though.
All right, so the Duke kind of leads you guys out, and he kind of steps out, and his entire like demeanor changes. He's like, "Ah, yes, it was a great catching up experience that we had in there. I'm so happy that we were able to do that.
Real
Now,
fun
I'm going to go and water the roses while you talk here." He just kind of scoots out of the room real quick.
time. Sure.
Dr.
Huh.
J. Watts really shakes his head. Like that's somehow even more disrespectful.
He's kind of been that way the last little bit.
Understandable.
So I'm sure he told you all the goods, everything. What's going on?
We are up to
Mhm.
speed.
I don't know.
Unfortunately,
Well, almost up to speed, you know. Aside from your plan, that's all we
Yes.
don't know.
He was cagey about that.
Didn't want
Well-
to talk about it.
What's your plan?
Kill Gumar.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We'll
How do you
figure it out.
plan to do that?
Go in
Please
there
tell
and-
me you have a real plan.
Yeah, we just
You know,
came up with
admittedly-
one.
Admittedly, I have been planning this for a long time. Unfortunately, my plans changed when I got dropped from Gamar's circle of employees. So,
Either A, talk to a guard in the city to give us their access to his realm, or B, get captured into his realm and then kill
Well,
him.
unfortunately, none of his guards will have access to his realm. Gamar comes out. He doesn't let people in necessarily,
getting more protective.
which means that you're either going to need to get his attention,
Should
or
be easy.
you're going to need to find a way to force yourself in there.
Okay.
we're up for suggestions.
Getting his attention would be pretty easy, considering the fact we have like his prized possession, the prodigal son. I'm going to point to Darby.
Mhm.
But
Alright,
Actually, I don't
think
think he's mentioned him once since I've seen
Yeah,
him.
I mean, I was a good employee. I wasn't the best. I never got on the, the
you
employee
are,
of the day.
from my understanding, you are still the only employee of his employ and get away with it.
Leave his employee and get away with it. Yeah.
We also pretty much have a bounty on our heads. We could just walk
Yeah.
around town.
If
Yeah.
we just walk, like, I mean, even the guards at the door, they recognized who we were. They just care more about getting the payday.
But you did mention force as if that was an option. Well, how would you intend us to force our way in?
I'm sorry. What was the question? I was adjusting.
How do we intend to
Oh.
force our way in?
Yeah, you said you
Or how
mentioned
do you
being
intend-
able to force our way into his possibility.
It is. Dr. Watts, you talked about the trans-dimensional travel.
Yeah.
Well, I have kind of a way to do it that would open Gamar's lair, possibly. You remember the rocket ship I built? You
Yeah,
remember
I
how,
can't stop thinking about it.
Remember how they brought me back here to work on another rocket ship?
That was what I remember, yes.
Well, they did that, and I got decently far along, and one of the things that our group managed to do is steal half a rocket ship that we have now outfitted into a massive bomb. The idea would be to launch the bomb, or set it off, destroy half of the city, and using enough energy from it, it would crack open the dimensional realm to Gamar's place. That's theoretically what should happen.
Is there a way to do that and not destroy a place where there's a bunch of people?
Well, that's what I was hoping you were going to tell me when you showed up.
I mean, why does it require death?
Because of the force of the explosion needs to be able to bust through this weird dimensional rift that seems to reside here. And from what I can tell, Gamar's central energy seems to reside in this city. Otherwise, they'd launch it off in the woods and blow a hole over there, but I don't think it's going to be strong enough to break in here.
Would you be able to do it like just off the coast?
I could
If it's
try.
in the city, the coast is just as, close as anything else, and it wouldn't be a whole bunch of people there. We can get people away from the docks.
I could try. My only fear is that I have one shot at this. If it goes off, there's not another rocket ship, there's not another chance, which is why I asked if you guys had another way to do this.
I mean, it captured us.
I've done
Okay.
hundreds and hundreds of calculations, and you are right, Jamie. Feasibly, we should be able to detonate it out over the coast and have the same results, but sometimes it just doesn't add up. Sometimes I think it works, sometimes it doesn't look to work. That's what I'm leery about. So please, for the goddess, tell me you have another way in.
I don't have enough time to do any calculations of my own. We kind of are on a time crunch here.
As are we.
Well, okay. What if we do this? What we could do is we'll go to a section of the city. We evacuate it, and then we detonate the bomb. If evacuating people gets Gamar's attention, then we did plan A. If it doesn't, we detonate the bomb and we find our way inside, and that's our plan B. And if we do get his attention, we have a giant-ass bomb.
It's feasible. So the strength of the bomb would take out 65% of Igorith.
Oh, we can't get that many
Yeah,
people.
and
out.
not to
We don't have
not
that
to
kind
show
of
our
time.
hand here, but if Gamar spots Dr. Jamie, he will be able to call our bluff, because there's no way he will believe that Dr. Jamie would be willing to set off that bomb. With
He
people
hasn't
in
seen me in 3 years. I could do stuff.
I'm not saying you can't do stuff. What I'm saying is he knows your character. Everybody in Elyssia knows your character. You're not going to set off that bomb. That's the first thing I'd think of if I was in his situation. He'd call your bluff.
Well, I said he
Gamar
hasn't seen me. Okay.
He would be betting on the fight pits, wouldn't he? Like,
Potentially.
would you think?
He'd-
What if
I
we
mean,
just started making him lose money?
How
That'd
long
be
did that
wild.
take?
I could. I mean, unfortunately, my contact doesn't work in the betting anymore, so it's kind of hard to rig the bets. And with it being death matches, I don't know how willing participants are going to be to lose in the pit.
Okay.
You want 100 gold? You'll die.
Here's
but
100
you-
gold. Go
Do we
die
know
in
where
that
he
pit.
keeps, do we know where
die.
he keeps his money? Probably in his realm. I was gonna say if he keeps
Yes.
it here, we could blow up his money.
No, there's no way. He does not keep it here. You kidding me? That man wants to see the piles and stacks of it. He doesn't keep it here.
Okay. Well, then. Well, I will say that he hasn't seen me in 3 years, and it has been a beckoning. A lot of people change, and there's a good chance he might not know that I wouldn't Vulpa 65% of Vigoroth. But even still,
That's so
I'm not willing to call
That's
that
a
bluff,
huge
so I
risk.
don't
Right.
know.
I think getting his attention's the easier route.
I do.
I think
too.
that's the easier route. What the betting in the fight pit? That's not a bad idea. Do we have something? The bomb. We could put Ruma in the fight pit because he's the most fighty of all of us,
Ruma or
and we
Sentinel.
can or Sentinel, but Ruma probably just because
Hey,
Sentinel
I
was a
just took the
giant chicken.
tough feat. My HP went up by over
my
40
God.
points.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he could survive in the fight. pits.
Beefy
Yeah.
boys.
They're gonna make
So,
a
what I'm
fight
getting
angle.
Flexes his
187
bicep.
But okay,
What
so,
if we? What if we then we bet the bomb? Gamar, there's no way Gamar is not gonna want a weapon of that power, especially if he's trying to take over Peter at any point in time. And not to mention the only way forcing us into where he's at. If we did that, there's no way he wouldn't come down. He's a betting man, Darby. You know that, and you could talk him into at least something. Whether he's talked about you or not is irrelevant because you know that he is an egotistical dick. He's a narcissist. And the fact that
100%.
you have foiled his plans not once but at least twice, there's no way he's going to look stupid in front of a whole bunch of people. Ruma wins the fight.
if Ruma wins the fight, then Ruma's got to kill somebody. It's a death match.
I mean,
If Gamar is betting on it, it
It
will
are.
be a death match. There's no way he's going to let Ruma just walk in there and win. It's gonna be potentially more than just Ruma
Right.
having to
And
go
my
into that
thing is,
pit.
if that bomb's on the line, I don't think Gamar's gonna play fair. That's Darby's whole bit.
100%.
when
No,
was
he will
working on it.
never play fair.
well, neither will
I've
we.
said it before, Dr. Watts. A good gambler doesn't take a bet they don't know they won't win.
But
He's
neither
not
will
going
we.
to take it if he doesn't think he's winning.
That's just what we need him to do. That's we need him to think he's winning. He shows up, and then if he shows up, we can figure out something to do.
But we don't.
I don't
that's
hate the
problem. We
plan,
don't
to
need
be
him
clear. I
here.
actually am very much on board with
Right.
gambling
we
away
don't need him
everything for
here,
this,
though. We
but-
need him to take us back to his place. We need to kill him back at his
Yeah.
place.
But he's not gonna do that. They just said he doesn't do that.
Right. But what I'm saying is if we kill him here, it doesn't solve the problem.
That's what we'll say is that if we win, then he has to take us there.
Do you think he'll honor that, Darby?
I mean,
Doesn't in his head what has he got to lose? He's just
he-
taking us into his spot.
he's a strange one. I know I am one. I will never. If I make a bet, I will follow through with it until the day I die. He tends to be the same way, but when it's something this big, sometimes people like to power out a little bit and take their losses and run.
That's why you would convince him otherwise, right? He's gonna want to prove himself to you, Darby. If he welches on his bet in front of you, then you'd have beaten him 3 times, killing you or not. Like, that's gonna... When you're immortal, what else do you have to think about other than your reputation? That's what Peter's doing. Everything is based on his reputation. Look at freaking Duke. He's pretending to be a good guy because he feels bad about basically creating a slave race. Like...
I wouldn't say that 100%, but
Like,
that's being a little unfair to him personally. But continue.
you guys, I can't think of what else to... I can't think of another way that doesn't involve a massive loss of life.
Right. Well, setting off the bomb in the city is not going to happen.
That is
That's
not
on
an
the
option,
board.
I don't think. Unless we can somehow evacuate
The
the
only-
majority of Igorot, that's not happening.
The only thing I can think of is that we cause a big enough scene in the center of town while they get the bomb off the shore, sneak it out somehow, and set it off there to get us a way in if we aren't already in by... That's plan, let's call it plan 1. Other plan is get Ruma into the fight pits, have Darby bet the bomb to having Gamar show up, but his end of the deal is if Ruma wins, we get into his place.
We get an audience with him to pick the treasure we want to take from his personal stash.
Ooh, there we go. That's great.
Oh, that gets
No,
us
that's
in there.
perfect. It gets us in. He's not, and he's a narcissist. So chances are he's gonna think he could beat us all anyway. So it doesn't like why would he welch on a bet that ends with him killing us all? You know what I mean? Like it isn't it looks like a win-win to him, and then we just bet on ourselves to be able to stop him when we get in there, which is basically what we are doing anyway.
And killing us is a big boon towards his manipulation of Braska. We've been
How do we prove
his
we
biggest
have
thorn
the
in the side.
bomb to him?
We show it
He's
to
gonna
him.
want proof.
I think he knows.
We show. Well, Darby doesn't welch on bets, right? And he knows that about you, Darby. If you
I will
tell him that
honor
you're gonna
everything.
bet, if you
Oh,
tell him you'll bet the bomb, then you're good. He's gonna do it.
I have never once backed out of a bet, whether it was win or lose.
And if he knows that about Darby, just Darby saying it should be enough. Then we're just basically betting on Ruma to win whatever fight he's in.
I will point out as well, the bomb's pretty big. It's not small.
Right.
you're
We're
gonna
not getting it out of
Look
here
at
easily.
where you're going. It's about the size of the rocket pod that we actually were all in when we launched the rocket. Not the whole rocket.
Okay.
Just the pod.
And I-
Well, then we don't even need to. We don't need to move it because we're not gonna lose. Ruma's gonna win the fight, and then we're in. And then we'll have to do something from there. We can find the treasure room, like Ruma said, that's a great idea, and give us at least a minute or two to figure out what we're gonna do when we're inside.
I mean, I don't hate this plan. This is definitely better than blowing up half the city.
I think this is Ruma. You think you could win a fight?
Yeah.
Then I.
The only concern is this, again, it's not going to be a fair fight. We're going to potentially have to cheat our way to the top in a way that we can justify isn't cheating.
And that was always going to be a thing.
A shield
With-
of faith hasted Ruma with a club. It'll go pretty far. I think.
I mean, it will! But how far could it go when you've got Gamar pulling the strings behind the match, you know?
I can still smite with a club.
Well, sure,
Yeah,
it's fine,
I
Except your
think
fist.
we can.
Just decimate a poor guy.
I don't know.
Cobalt.
I don't like the idea of killing a. I don't like the idea of
He just
killing
sends in a
others.
little goblin and that's it.
It'll be non-lethal. Ruma's gonna make sure he doesn't drop below.
Oh no, it's a fight to the death in the pits at this point.
I'll
Well,
convince him
I
to
can
act
just-
dead.
I can just tell them that he's dead. If you knock him out cold, I mean, but his chest rising and falling. I'm a doctor. If I say there's somebody,
You're part of the bet. They're not gonna believe you.
yeah. I can always act indignant. I can always. I mean, I don't like the death match.
Yeah, and
That's
you're not
true.
lying by saying you don't want it to do
be
that.
fair.
I don't know, Jamie. I'm not sure you can sell indignant. I've never seen that on your
No.
face before.
Not even once.
To be
hard sell.
fair, we gotta think about the people that Ruma would be fighting. They're also willingly entering into a death match for money.
And all I have, if I let them know that, and they still choose to do it, then there's not much I can do about it.
All right, I like this plan. I like this plan better
It
than
seems
just
like-
getting captured.
Yes, this is
Yeah,
better than getting captured.
because he can
Not
capture
quite
us
as
here.
fun as kneecapping the guy at the hole in the wall, but you know, if he's not going to bring us in, it could
You
still
can
be a
still
fun thing
kneecap
to
him.
to get Ruma warmed up, but
Yeah, when we get back, you can still kneecap him.
get our 75 gold back.
So the plan.
75 gold.
He's 30, and then he wanted half of the 90.
Dear God.
Yeah, no, it was.
Oh, I just yeah. Actually, I was wondering why you paid me 75 because I was including the 30 in the 90, so I thought it was gonna be just 90.
No, I was
altogether.
giving him 90 on top of 30.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
wow,
was
okay,
90
well,
and
he
then,
really
yeah,
made-
it
I
was
was
the
like, why is
30
he-
and
wow,
then
That's
90
not
for the
half,
info.
but the guy will take it. He's thinking he's just getting 90 gold, and you just gave him 75.
That's
so.
why I was saying the 30
Yeah.
was already settled. I was going to give him 90
God,
on top
On
of
top,
that.
yeah, it was
He
120
was
in
a
total.
stupid goon and didn't understand it because I'm a stupid goon
That's
and
fine.
didn't understand it. So,
Yeah. He's
so
getting more
my
money than he
so
thought.
making this straight, the plan is to take Mila's bomb, take it to the pits.
Nope.
Say you're going to. No.
We're not going to. So we are banking on Gamar believing Darby has the bomb. If there is a detonator, if there's some type of like pseudo detonator we can build to make it look like we have a detonator.
Because he would know that something like that would.
I mean, he's
missing.
contracted her to build
Yeah.
rockets before.
Yeah,
so this isn't.
I can do it.
Like he knows
I
that she
can-
can do something like this.
I can use one of my science tinkerings to create a picture of it, like the audio recordings I do.
Yeah.
That's
Perfect.
true. You're gonna
So then you'll be able to see that it exists.
Of life.
And we don't want him to know where it is
It
anyway,
is, right.
because
Yeah,
then
we
he
don't
could
take him
just,
to it, because then he's just gonna show up and go
Yeah.
boop, and then it's gone.
What,
and then
what,
it's gone.
what is this thing? I'm sorry, I totally brain
He-
fried.
he
So
can-
what spell are we casting or think science that we're doing
He,
here?
as
Yeah,
an
by
artificer,
style
he can
thing.
create like a picture of objects, essentially.
Okay,
Yeah,
With-
it's
the
kind of
same
like
thing he
a
does with the recordings.
prestidigitation, but it's the artificer version.
gotcha.
Yes. Yeah, you can make little images or recordings of things.
hmm
Okay, cool.
So I
All
still
right.
have 3 of those I can use because I'm using one to keep for Peter, because he told me not to
Yeah.
help him.
Oh, do you still? I think you're also still keeping the one of Destiny, right? Where he
Oh
was
yeah,
really
yep.
tiny.
Sorry, yep.
Yeah,
It's
so
really
you,
tiny.
You
I
got
have
2
Don't need
that
that
you have to
anymore.
keep.
I have. No, I'm keeping it to bug him.
Yeah, no, that's one of those things you don't get rid of. You know, you keep that until the day you die.
That is that's for my brother always. So I still have 2, so I can use one.
Great, so we have that. So yeah, that works.
That's pretty much the plan.
Gives even more credibility to me saying we have a bomb.
Yeah,
And
this
if,
sounds.
if push comes to shove, we can also have Ruma do zone. Then
Oh,
we'll be
yep,
be
there
honest
it is.
about it. So
Yep,
That
easy
would have
peasy.
to be.
All right, sounds like a plan. I guess you guys can go to the pits whenever you want.
That's
Yeah,
it. Any
set
other
this up?
questions or anything? I don't really have anything.
when we leave, well, like when I want to talk to like Matilda,
Millie.
was it
Mila.
Millie?
Mila.
Mila.
No,
It's on
Mila.
M's.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'll put that in
Um,
names.
There
I
is.
kind of want to do like an aside to Mila if I could
Okay.
once like
Yeah.
people are starting to like exit out.
Yeah, of course. So I mean, she's go.
Mhm.
Without getting too heavy in the role play for this specific moment, she doesn't know how she feels about you betting the bomb because if for whatever reason she loses it, there also goes your other plan. But you know, we'll see what happens.
We always figure something out.
I'm gonna say, hey, Mila, here's the thing. Like, out of earshot from the other guys, can you bring this to the coast without being seen?
There's underground passages. Yeah, that was the initial plan, is that we take this underground somewhere and detonate it from underground. If we take it to the coast, we'd have to somehow get a ship, but it might take a little bit of time, but it's doable.
What I'm thinking is, take it to the coast, and if we lose, just detonate it.
Okay. Like I said, it's gonna take a bit of time to get it moved and get it on a
Hmm.
boat. I mean, we have to get a boat, but I can try
Yeah.
it. I am
That would-
stating here, though, and I understand all of this. I'm right there with you. Detonating this on the coast is a 50-50 shot.
It's better than 0, and I
It is.
can't let you kill it like 65% of the people here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that because I didn't want to do it either.
Yeah, I kind of figured you don't seem like that kind of person. So that would be that's the best thing I can do. That's what I think of. Darby needs to think that this is happening in order for him to be honest in the bet. I don't give a shit about that. So if we lose, just detonate it.
Throwing my entire reputation as a gambler on the line for this.
All
I'm
right.
betting on Ruma winning this thing, but on the off chance that he doesn't,
And betting that the bomb will even work at this stage.
no, even work.
Okay.
This is the biggest gamble, and it's all on Darby and Ruma.
Oh yeah.
So-
Alright.
when Jamie's done talking to Mila, Arthur's aside. He's like,
Arthur's doing it too?
yeah, Arthur's gonna say,
Okay.
Mila,
Okay.
I'm
So
not
you just
sure.
see Jamie pass by and Arthur
Yeah.
passes by him and goes,
Yeah.
let me talk to you. real quick."
I'm not sure what Jamie just told you, but anything looks dicey. Blow the bomb.
You guys need to figure your shit out.
I would also like to have an
I'm not
aside
sure.
with Mila.
Honestly, the funny thing is I actually did have the idea. And as soon as Jamie goes over to her, I was like, "Damn it, he's gonna steal my idea." But I was gonna say,
No, I'm not-
I wasn't even gonna say move it to the coast. I was gonna say, as soon if by chance Gamar gets his grimy paws on the victory, you blow the bomb. You blow it up. You do not, under any circumstances, that man have the bomb.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought about having that conversation too, but I was like, no, Darby
Am I
Darby
the only
shouldn't
one that
do that.
didn't? Alright, Ruma's gonna take Mila aside and go, if this goes sideways, I want you to know I've never vomited more than when I rode on your ship. It's
Thank
terrible.
you. No.
I just wanted an aside. Everybody else got one.
You guys really have major trust issues, it seems, for as long as you've traveled together.
Oh no, that's public knowledge. I just figured you needed to know. I've been complaining about it ever since it happened.
He does talk about the throwing up quite a bit.
Well, I guess in the 2.0 model, I guess 3.0, because this is the 2.0 model, we'll work on those kinks.
Give her a little pat on the shoulder and walk away.
All right.
You know,
I'm just
as
feeling real
we're,
accomplished
I'm not gonna
inside.
have an aside with Mila, but as we're like kind of making our way back,
Come on, Darby.
I'm gonna push Darby to.
no,
have
you know
an
what?
aside.
Okay, I will go to have an aside with Mila, and on my way into the room with her, I will use my feature from being a gambler.
Nice.
Odds and probabilities are your bread and butter during downtime and figuring out odds on best plans. You can get a solid sense of which choice is likely the best one and which opportunities seem too good to be true at DM's determination. I would like to know which of these
Based on
plans
his
sound
numbers?
better.
Based on
the
her
odds.
numbers.
Dude,
15.
I've
Roll
never
me
seen
a
someone use the gambler
D100.
thing.
Yeah.
That's the
Roll me
dopest
It
thing.
never
I've
really
ever
comes
heard.
up because it's like hard to do that, you know?
Yeah,
It's such a
that's-
this
specific
is
feat.
fucking
Roll me a
it.
D100, Darby.
I love it.
This is great. Oh my goodness. This is like someone using the Fisher story from the folk
Yeah.
background and actually coming up.
That is an 80 on the dot.
There is an 80% chance this fails.
Rock on.
Well,
Good thing I don't lose.
Yeah, it's like
You guys have no faith in me.
well, it's
Well,
less.
I have all
It's
the
not
faith
necessarily
in
that
the
I don't
world
have
that
faith
would
in you.
win the fight. I just don't think Gamar. I think Gamar's gonna enter like a champion and be casting spells to just
Oh
keep
yeah,
him going.
no, yeah. It's not that I don't
don't
have
think
faith
this
in
is gonna be a
you.
fair
It's that
fight
I
at
know
all.
he's gonna pull all the stops to win.
Mhm.
I will go up to Mila, and I will tell her bluntly that there's likely, given my understanding of everything here, that it's probably about an 80% chance this isn't going to work.
Yeah, I was
I-
just being nice.
I-
I'm aware how risky this is.
I get that, but I'm willing to risk it all on that 20%.
All right.
And that is
You
as
know-
a man that has never backed out of a bet a day in his life.
You guys got my rocket in the air. You somehow helped my crazy dad. You have trounced all over this world and brought back the worst thing you could bring back, and now you're fighting against him. If I'm gonna trust anyone, stupidly enough, I'm gonna trust the 5 of you. And I don't know why, but I'm going to. Because everything tells me I shouldn't, but I'm going to.
We seemingly have a way of bending the odds in our favor somehow.
Somehow. So, 20% better than 0.
It is better than 0. It's not an outright failure. And then Darby will.
Never
Alright.
tell me the odds.
Do you inform
Never
the rest
tell
of
me
them
that.
it's an 80% failure rate?
Oh, definitely not. They don't need to know that.
Okay, it's a Darby secret then. I love
In
it.
Ruma's mind, this is 100% success.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to freak out Room more so than anyone else. Maybe,
Darby and
while he's
Ruma-
in the pit,
Roma's a
I'll
cucumber.
bring it up. But I'm not. I don't want to. I don't want Ruma thinking that this is gonna go horribly. He's got the confidence in the world. We don't need to shatter that.
DM.
Yeah.
Do we have me or Darby have an idea of how these fights usually go? Is it like a ding ding, you go until it's over, or is it like UFC where it's like rounds, like where you can like
So,
help
at
people
this-
out? You know what I mean?
At this point, you don't really know. Originally, it would have been rounds. You know,
Okay.
go until
okay.
the person's knocked out. People make their money. It might be like 3 rounds. There's judges who determine who got the most strikes in and stuff like this. At this point, I'll bet
You have no idea. Okay,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking like I'm going into it thinking like okay, like in the
Yeah.
first round we could help, and then we can okay. Go.
All right. You guys head to the pits then. I'm assuming you're going right to the pits.
I'll make a quick stop, and pass by my contact and just pat him on the back and let him know that apparently I'm getting back into the game, and just keep walking after I say it.
All right. I'll say you guys go. They take you out a different way of the city, so you can re-enter the collapse and go in. So you're not
Ooh.
going to the back way again. What?
Darby, you should tell that guy to tell people that you're making just a huge bet against Gamar, like to get as many people to the pits as possible.
You know, I will.
Because again,
I will.
you need an audience.
I had that thought and then I forgot about it.
We're on the same page.
I will do that though. I will also tell him that I'm getting back in the. I'll rephrase it. I'm getting back in the game. It seems.
Our team name can be Gamar's a shit-idiot.
And it's gonna be a big.
I'll let the guy know who called me governor earlier at the that there's a big bet that he can make a whole bunch of money on that Darby's gonna be making against Gamar at the pits. Spread the word.
Let's say this instead of you guys just heading right to the pits. It sounds like you're starting a little bit of rumor. You're starting the word around the city. That takes a little bit of time. So you're kind of going around collapse. You're letting people know. You're letting the word seep out that someone in a top hat is here to challenge Gamar. And you better believe that Gamar is going to know what that top hat means.
I'll even play a couple rounds of cards with some people in random places and slip it in that I've got a lot of money riding on a bet coming up.
Let's say a few hours pass by and you spread this information. You make yourself known. At this point, your possible secret entrance into the city, assuming those guys didn't spread the word, has blown. They now know you are here. Gamar knows you're here most likely. And you were at the pit.
When we did that twice as fast as we would.
And you did it twice as fast.
Jamie did it twice as fast.
Twice. Maybe even 3 times if you're feeling generous.
You know,
Who knows?
Whoa.
If we had 2 people with that feat, that'd be 4 times.
That's a 20 level feat right there.
3 times faster through cities. That's I think 1 D&D whatever level 20 perks they're calling them. The big boobs.
All right, you guys are at the pits. What do you do?
We run. No.
It's time to leave.
We leave.
We use a message spell. We tell her to blow up the bomb, and we leave.
Damn.
Was there some dude like officiating anything?
Yeah, there's like a bookie, I guess you'd call him, that you go up to and be like, "We're making a bet here."
I'm gonna tell Ruma while Darby goes and talks over to the bookie. I'm gonna tell Ruma just walk into the pit right now, middle of their match. Just literally leap over the sidewall and just jump in.
Ooh,
make a speediness, big spectacle.
I should have said this. Are these fights like with weapons?
No, these are hand to hand. Well, they had clubs. It's literally you pick up a weapon in the ring and beat the shit out of each other, or you just barehand it if you want.
Okay. Cool.
Ruma's gonna hand his hammer and his shield and his bits of armor and the spare daggers and the others. Just give Arthur or Azrael way too much stuff. That is way
into the
too
bag
big
of holding.
for him.
Into the bag of holding.
A reverse Mary Poppins, if you will.
Yep, that's right.
And then he'll try to do a superhero landing into the pit. Just for
I want to see how well you do.
Wait! Before you do that, what's your strength at?
High.
20.
Okay. Oh yeah, 20. Oh, then never mind.
All right, athletics with a little +10 modifier. That'll be a dirty 20.
Yep, so Ruma, you just pole vault yourself from the upper layers and just smash down in the ring. And the 2 fighters just go dwarf and an elf guy, and they're about to go at it. And they just kind of look over, and you're just there, shirtless, no armor, got your thick pants on, towering above these guys, and the whole arena goes silent. And the announcer's like, "And it seems we've had a new challenger enter the ring. What is your name, challenger?"
Ruma's gonna look at Azrael. He doesn't know how to do theatric stuff.
Azrael will walk over and kind of whisper in his ear. He'll come over, whisper in his ear, and he'll say, "The Gamar Killer."
Are you insane, man? We have here. His words, not mine. The Gamar Killer.
Probably gonna cover your back.
Everyone's just kind of like.
What?
A little golf clap.
Everyone's very confused right now. The elf and the dwarf are like, Are we supposed to kill each other now, or like who the fuck is this guy?
Get out of the rig, you dumbasses.
Yeah.
Live your life.
So
We're
Darby,
just gonna point at him and just do this.
Yeah.
so Darby,
Sure.
you're at the kind of bat keeper, and he goes, I haven't seen you around here for the last several years.
Turned a new leaf, strangely enough. But
Yeah, doesn't
Always-
seem like it. If you're talking to me.
Leech
What's your
always comes back. I've got a bet for the big man.
So, who's that?
Gamar, the boss.
Oh, you mean the master?
Yes.
Yeah, we don't call him the big man anymore. He's the master. That's just just a terminology. It's okay. You
Yeah,
don't understand.
yeah, I've been out of his.
You're
business
going
for
to
years.
bat against Gamar. You
Yes.
do realize what that means.
It
And
wouldn't
you
be
also
the first
realize
time.
that Gamar doesn't come out for a few chintzy silver pieces. It's a bet.
I'm well aware. It's not my first time gambling against him.
What do you bet then? I mean,
Uh,
you'll tell it to me. I don't need to tell it to him. He's probably listening in the moment you said you wanted to bet. And judging from you, I think he's definitely listening in right now.
Oh, I'm aware. Let's just say, I'm going to bet, and I'll pull out the picture. This. Now, you might not know what this is, but to
Kind of
Gamar,
weird sex toy.
no, this is a giant
Everybody.
bomb that will be used to
Oh,
detonate
what?
and blow up part of Igorith and open a rift into his dimension.
You said a lot of big words there, Darby, and I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sure you don't, but he does.
Well, he possibly does seem to. Not the guy you're talking to, but Gamar, as the sort of sky darkens slightly around the pits and the swirling vortex of energy like forms above the arena. And you just see Gamar in his like beautiful red shirt and the birds flying around him kind of just descend down almost angelically, and he's hovering there. He just kind of looks around. Everyone's gone silent. They've all backed away. Wow. Oh. That's an entrance. Darby! You've come back for me!
Been a long time.
Oh, far too long, Darby. You know, I was wondering when you were gonna come talk to me.
I don't know if you were. According to some guys over at the wall, you haven't said anything about me over these past few years.
I haven't needed to.
Little hurt.
But I've had your friend with me the whole time.
Friend.
Lilith! My creation.
Makes sense why I haven't.
Why
heard
haven't you
from
think you've heard from her?
her.
No, unless I kill her, I can't take away your powers, but why would I create something I've created?
You know. I don't know. You do weird things all the time.
I do like my weird things. So, what is it that you're betting?
I'm betting that my good friend over there, and I point to Ruma, will win his match against the person of your choosing. Not from any of my people, of course. Someone from the pits.
No, I wouldn't be that mean, Darby. Oh, that's far too cruel. I'm not Braska. I
So
don't
wouldn't
pit
really.
friends against friends.
It wouldn't be much of a show match either, let's be real. We wouldn't be
No.
going all out. We'd probably
No,
leave.
no. Very well. You're telling me I get to pick my candidate.
I'll look to Ruma and seeking for like a nod of yes.
Anybody but one of us?
Well, and I already have that clause taken care of. Anyone but us. But according to Ruma, you're good to go.
Well, then, naturally, I choose myself.
Yeah, that does.
I haven't worked out the old Gamar guns in a long while. It might be a little interesting to see how this goes.
I'm pretty sure you can't bet on yourself. That's like a regular betting move because then you could throw the match and then the other person wins. That's how they stop people from cheating.
Yeah, can't really.
I'm hearing a fault in the audience, and I would appreciate them if they would quiet down a little bit.
No, he
I'm
has a
bidding.
point though. You can't really bet on yourself in these kinds of things.
Can I not, Darby? I make the rules in Igorith now, if you haven't noticed.
Well, I mean, if you want to be known as the guy who cheats at gambling to everyone,
Oh,
which I mean, you already are.
Darby, Darby.
Ooh.
Me cheat at gambling? Something that you've perfected over the years?
Well, I don't like to brag.
I mean, for the love of God, half the money you gave me is from swindling and cheating and whatever else you've done to get it. Barely any of it's fair betting. You want me to do the same? You want to hold me to some kind of cutesy-wootsy little standards? Well, fuck you. I choose myself.
All right then.
But, as a twist to all of this, Darby, I'm not putting my feet down in that nasty little pisser down there. It's good
Of
for you,
course
it's
not.
not good for me. My well-manicured hooves take a very long time to iron out,
I know.
to polish.
No,
Very long.
Asriel's gonna self-consciously look at his own hooves.
Oh no!
So, I'm going to get spicing things up a little bit. And I'm gonna welcome you home, Darby. I'm gonna welcome you to a wonderful, beautiful place. And truly make this interesting. My Gamar voice kills me.
yeah, that's fair. Very
Just
gross.
speak normal. You're okay.
You could be another guy. Like, just say he has a different voice now.
He went
Oh,
through
no.
reverse puberty.
So, do you
Remember,
understand?
we
And
didn't-
just start shouting for Gamar.
The bed
Remember,
is
we
on.
knew. Don't do this to yourself.
Super hoarse. Anyways,
You don't have to do
It's
it.
very much
The-
like down here and
the like this portal appears in the arena right in front of Ruma, and it opens up, which is identical to the portal, Darby, that you would have passed in and out of to get to Gamar's domain. I welcome all of you to it. It's not fair, me against him. Probably a fair fight against all of you. It'll be fun.
We don't need a squash match. You know, we want to put on a
But
good
you
show
don't even
here.
know what we want yet.
Yeah, we.
You
so
haven't even
Yeah,
guessed
yeah.
what we want.
I honestly, at this point, I don't care what you want. You know what? If you beat me, I will give Darby everything that I have. The clothes, the domain, Lilith, everything.
You get your pimp back, dude. I think this is a good deal.
It's amazing.
But if
deal.
I win, I not only get the bomb, I get to tear Darby's head off right in front of all of you.
Well,
I mean, we die anyway.
yeah, I mean, if you,
Oh.
I'm gonna be honest
You,
with
you,
you.
do, you don't quite understand it. When you come into my realm, I determine when you die. So we can continue this little game over and over and over again until I'm satisfied. Having the skin filleted off your flesh hurts the first 5 times. It's the worst after 10.
Tell me about it. I'm gonna raise my ghost hand up.
He gets it.
He gets it.
Hey,
Doesn't sound like a fair bet.
I guess I'll look to the group. I'm all in agreement on this one. Any
It doesn't sound fair to me, but those are my favorite kind of bets.
Dr. Watts,
Those are
you're the
the
one
kind-
with the most sane opinions in the group. What do you say?
Well, I mean, it kind of seems like we just got one we wanted. So that makes me,
Don't look a
suspicious.
gift horse in the mouth. Don't
Well,
look a
that's
gift horse in the mouth.
Exactly
Let's go.
where you live, Tim. That's why you say that.
Let's go.
All
I was
right,
gonna
well,
look at
put his
Gamar?
gear back on.
Yeah, like Ruma's like going back. I was wondering what Ruma had to think about it.
so,
Okay,
sounds like everyone's in agreement. Seems like that's the bet.
Is it accepted? Don't have all day.
Uh,
Yeah.
Darby will put
Yeah.
his hand out for the shake.
The door
Yeah.
just opens to the realm, and you just see a blinding white light that you can pass through.
Go through.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's get in there.
Do it to
So you guys all pass through the door. One sec, I want to make sure that this is actually set up the way that it should be, and I have my shadowing on properly, so you just don't immediately see the entire dungeon.
Can I do something before we walk into the thing?
Sure, what is it?
Darby, I'll have you tell your guy to just, I know it might not work, but tell him to get everybody out of the city. Because, like,
I mean, I can.
Actually, no, wait, never mind. I forget there's a beckoning going on, and just, like, running
Yeah,
outside
like-
the city is, like, not a move.
Like I could
Never-
tell him
never.
that, sure. One, he's probably not gonna do it. He doesn't care. And two, yeah, there's the whole beckoning and everything. Like,
Yeah, I know. I forgot about that.
also, I don't really know why we'd be evacuating the city in the first place.
Just because the bomb, we think it might just take out the coast, but, you know, I don't know how big it is. I've never seen it. Or I've never done the calculations.
Yes, but it's not like he's gonna blow it up here.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
If he's using it, it's going on Braska's castle.
Yeah,
I
no.
think we all know
That's good.
that.
It's a win-win. Except for Darby dies and we all get
It's-
smacked.
we're
Except
all
Darby gets his
tortured
head
forever.
ripped off a million times. Literally gets
just that
JoJo
little piece of
forever.
information.
Honestly, Darby, you get the best out of it all because you just die immediately. They get
Yeah.
tortured forever.
Yeah, it's a small little bit.
For me, I get ripped
us.
limb from limb. It's a painful death, but hey, I'm
Oh,
gone.
I don't think if Braska finds out that he'll just torture us forever. Braska will want his own peace, so we'll be forever.
Rascal just bring
Yeah.
you back just to want you to love him and be like, "You're all my friends. I saved
Yep.
you. Come back to me."
The
That's right.
Ew.
Stockholm syndrome hit heavy.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
the most
that's
insane
gross.
Stockholm syndrome you've ever seen.
So, if you on the map I just sent you, if you scroll to the bottom left, you'll see your characters in a black void with a door or
Ooh.
entranceway of some kind in front of you.
I do not see the door or anything. I just see
Yeah, it's
literally
all
blackness. I see a
I
little
see a
bit of
door.
hallway right here.
Yes. So the rest is a black, literal black void that you're in. So you're in a black void, and before you is a hallway.
Okay.
All right.
Let me just updating my
Darby,
HP.
you are immensely aware of what you see. You see the entranceway not only to Gamar's domain, but to his casino, where he has spent eons ripping people off of money. Two shadows stand guard at the door. Gamar is nowhere in sight. Welcome to his little labyrinth. You may have bet poorly. And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
Ooh.
Nice. Good stuff.
And Ruma didn't even have to kill a guy. It's just-
Yeah, we got out of the fight.
Yeah, I was
pit
gonna say,
somehow.
like, I was happy
I'll
about
be-
that. That's like a whole thing.
I'll be 100% honest, if you legitimately wanted to fight someone, I had no one for you to fight.
Yeah, well, I was also looking at my stats when I took all my gear off. It wouldn't have been as fun. Well, I would have dished out damage, but
Yeah.
I went down to a 13 AC with all my gear off.
Yeah, without,
Oh,
without
I was
the heavy
good.
armor, it's pretty rough. Yeah.
I was gonna do
But
a couple.
everyone
I had some stuff.
Else
That
is
was gonna
good,
help
it's
you with.
due.
Too. I was gonna pick up a club and just double smite somebody for like 80 damage turn one.
Yeah.
I was sort of excited to do like the Rocky manager thing, and every time Ruma came back, I'd like give him a potion or something, be like,
Oh, yeah.
"Hey, you got it, Rock! Like, you got it, you got it,
All right, we can do
Rock."
that when we're fighting Gamar.
I was
There we
also considering, just screaming out these words of encouragement that happen to heal you with healing word. As opposed
Yeah, no,
to,
we had a
like,
lot of.
like we've got stuff we can do
Yeah.
to help you if you're.
I was excited about that, but that's okay. We made it into the thing, and no one died.
We still,
which is
we still
nice.
get our
No one
big
died.
fight.
Nobody died.